Well, now we're getting to the part where I'm much more familiar with it. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of embarrassing that I couldn't beat Donkey Kong Jr. at least once.
Oh, you didn't get through that one?
No, I ended up not finishing... I got all the way to the final level, but I kept dying, like, right there. I mean, I can play the NES version just fine, but the arcade version is just slightly different. It messes with your muscle memory. You know, it's kind of funny in retrospect, when you went on the Wii Virtual Console. Every NES game was $5. So you could pay $5 for Donkey Kong, or you could pay $5 for Super Mario Bros. 3. I think I know which I'd rather pay $5 for.
Yeah.
You could probably charge $5 for the entire Donkey Kong trilogy.
I wonder how many of those early NES games were on there. There's a big difference between early NES and late NES.
Oh yeah, I mean, because like when it came out, the only thing it had were arcade ports. They had like Clue Clue Land and Donkey Kong and Popeye, I think were like some of the first titles released.
And the stuff that was original was still designed like arcade games.
That's true. But then
I'm
like
Marble Madness.
Hogan's Alley.
I was thinking Marble Madness, but I think that was an arcade game.
Yeah, it was an arcade game. Then, I mean, then you had the arcade ports like Pac-Man on NES, which seems to be the version that they keep releasing.
The NES one?
Yeah, and I don't know why. Man, this is a game that's like that changes everything. This is a game that like defines the industry and changes exactly how you think about games, you know? Maybe I'm overselling it.
Piece of history. You are stupid.
I'm not showing that video, but it's a good one. I think for me the funniest thing about his review of Donkey Kong Country is that he hated Donkey Kong Country 2 because it wasn't different enough. Basically, he was like, the first game wowed us all with its graphics. The second game is more of the same thing. Why isn't it, like, also equally as groundbreaking? Look, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to get much more out of the Super Nintendo than that. Unless you want to make it with Super FX graphics, but I don't want to play a Donkey Kong Country game using the Super FX chip.
Yeah.
Maybe Super FX 2.
Jules mentioned that he always plays Star Fox at like 1.5 speed or something.
I have heard about that.
It feels slow on the SNES.
It does, yeah. Star Fox 2, it's kind of impressive that that game is actually playing on the same hardware because it feels so much better to play. By the way, what happened to your Switch that you can't use it right now?
I'm loaning it to me mother.
Ah.
She's considering buying one.
She should probably just buy a Switch 2.
They still think that, like, 200, 250 is crazy outrageous for a game console, despite them being like way more expensive than that, even back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I suggested she wait until the 2 come out, because then that's when people are going to start selling their Switch 1 secondhand.
It's the Wickersham Leader Show with today's episode. This is Donkey Kong Country. That sounded better in my head. Well, anyways, as we continue my Donkey Kong Bonanza marathon, we finally get to the game that changes everything about Donkey Kong, as well as had a massive impact on the game industry. Donkey Kong Country. This is my favorite game of all time. I've played it on this channel many, many times, and I doubt that this is going to be the last time I'll play it on this channel.
Oh, you like it more than 2?
I do. This is my favorite game of all time. Now, I'll admit that's mostly just because you can actually play as Donkey Kong in this one. But I also think I've grown to like it just because of the way it's just very quick. It doesn't, like, waste your time a lot, except for the 2 levels where it does waste your time. The Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, like, I'll talk about it a little more when we get to it, but they have a lot more verticality, they have a lot more gimmicks, they have a lot more things that get in the way, like getting bonus tokens to unlock extra levels. Donkey Kong Country 1 is very quick, right? You get the bonus rooms, you leave the bonus, you don't even have to win, and then it counts. And then you could do it all when one... Yeah, it's all platforming, it's all just very quick, it's very consistent, right? And that's what I like about it. The other 2 games are great as well. I'm not going to pretend like this is the best game ever made, but, yeah, that's just why I like it more. But this game has a very impressive and varied history. It's the kind of game that people just don't stop talking about, partially because Rareware fans are crazy. They don't give up for anything. They're still holding on to hope that Rare is just holding on to a Conker and Banjo game somewhere, and they're just not telling us every single year.
How's the state of the K. Rool copium?
It's pretty high. All the DK fans are very much coping about about K. Rool's possibility of being in the game. It's kind of starting a schism, where now you got people who are trying to say that the DK fans should just learn to move past K. Rool. So, you know, it's fandom stuff. I mean, I don't...
Bonanza, just to date the stream.
Yeah, just Bonanza, yeah. And then of course, I heard somebody, you know, we've also had a split in the fan base over DK's new design for Bonanza, where a lot of people actually really like it, but there's a lot of people who are really, really attracted to that old one, and they don't want to move away from it. I saw someone use the word betrayal, so, you know, that's kind of the state that the fan base is in.
I trusted Donkey.
I trusted Nintendo, and they betrayed Rareware because they hate them. Yeah, they hate them. Yep, that's what's going on. They have a grudge with a company they sold 23 years ago.
I mean, they are kind of... They don't like to use things that they didn't make.
Well...
Personal to Rare, but...
No. But on the other hand, they use his design for, like, years and years after they got rid of the guy. Anyways.
Just because it's sold.
Let me just pivot over to the, let's pivot over to the pre-release stuff for this game.
I'm here to play the game with you, but you're going to be
we're going to be talking about it first, yeah. So, ignore this. This isn't the actual beginning, but it is kind of crazy that it even got to this point. So Rare was a company that was, somebody that other companies and publishers outsourced games to, namely Trade West. They published Battletoads. Rare had started working on games as Ultimate Play the Game in the late 80s and early 90s, and they made games for the ZX Spectrum, like Attic Attack or Saberman. In the 90s, they were working on 3D designs, because 3D was big, and they're like, we got our hands on some SGI computer graphic workstations that have cutting-edge graphics and like 20 supercomputers in one, and yada yada yada. And they were showing this technology off at trade shows, and Nintendo took a big interest in them. And they said, okay, well, we're interested in working with you on a game. So we're going to let you take a look at some of the IPs that we aren't really using right now, and you can do what you want with them. Now, even though they did have a Donkey Kong game releasing in 1994, it was a Game Boy game. It was very reminiscent of older titles. It was on the down low. So Rare was like, we'll take Donkey Kong, and we'll work on that. And this is their first pitch for what that game would be. Donkey Kong versus Super Wario. And this is a mess. Hold on, let me scroll down to where the actual pitch for this is. Mario is building a time machine, and Wario steals it. And Wario's parrot goes to Donkey Kong to tell him that he's got to save Mario. Nintendo didn't like this pitch for a couple of different reasons. One, why is Donkey Kong rescuing Mario? He doesn't like the guy. They haven't really been on good terms at all. So this story kind of doesn't fit. And two, it's not really making a Donkey Kong game. It's very tethered to Mario, and having Wario there as an enemy is kind of a confusing choice. This is also, you can see a very early design for both of them. I assume this parrot would eventually become Squawks, but I think it's more like that had that idea of a parrot friend in the back of their mind. So they said, look, let's go back, do it again. Give it another shot. And then they made Donkey Kong and the Golden Bananas. And this is really where the project got off the ground. Fancy pitch Bible, I gotta say. So DK was relaxing. Now, this is before Diddy Kong existed. So this, hold on, where is it? That's Junior there. But the idea is that these guys called the Kremlings, and you can see that there's called Corporal Krizzle. The Kremlings were actually taken from another game that Rare had in development called Johnny and the Kremling Armada. And they were like, this really fits well in this new world of Donkey Kong that we've created, and they're cool-looking crocodile designs. So let's take them and import them and put them into this game. So the Kremlings steal the Golden Banana, and this old man Grandpa Kong tells DK that it's been stolen, so DK takes Junior, and they go off. And this was the thing that really got the project off the ground. But when Nintendo saw their design for Junior, they said, this looks very different. Change the design, make it a new character, or just leave it the way he was, and that's how we got Diddy Kong. Meanwhile, Donkey Kong's design went through a whole bunch of other changes. First of all, this is the sketch that Miyamoto sent to Rare. One of the sketches that Miyamoto sent to Rare as, like, concept art. Like, this is how he looks now. Let's see your take on it.
That first one looked a lot like the modern take.
It does, right? I mean, the things that are notably different, though, is just how the brow is formed, because it's not, like, the brow doesn't move like the modern one does. He's got eyebrows, which he doesn't have anymore. And this design for DK had a period in between the D and the K on the tie. Interesting enough, this one has a heart pattern on the tie, which I don't think they ever used in anything. It's a slightly different version of him. But here's a couple of the earliest sketches. He was designed by... Oh, what's his name? Stephen Males, I think. He designed Donkey and Diddy Kong. And
I can see the Saturday morning cartoon, like the Battletoads ism.
He also designed the Battletoads. And you look at Donkey Kong's face and you're like, oh my gosh, this is an ape Battletoad. They made an ape version of Battletoads. And that face kind of stuck around. That strong brow look just managed to stick all the way through development. They had a bunch of different sketches for it. But this is the one picture they like to show off. I assume this is a much later version. That is not his initial sketch. But and of course, the big claim to fame for this game was its 3D graphics, right? And that's what they wanted to show. So when you look at... hold on, I've got to... Let me just go look at the models real quick.
This might be a dumb question. Was Donkey Kong, was there ever any material that like associated him with bananas before this?
It
wasn't really a thing in the arcade games.
He's just a gorilla.
I know that.
That's really it. All right, so the big thing was the 3D graphics, and you can see a couple of things they did here. For one, they actually removed the DK from the tie. because you can't see it in game. So since this is the model that they were using, you know, the Super Nintendo can't display 3D graphics, not natively anyway. But you can display a picture of 3D graphics, and that's essentially how this technology works. It looks impressive, but it's not really doing anything all that crazy. It's just showing sprites that are designed to look very three-dimensional. And this early tech, the fur looks like sleeves. It's just a texture with a bump map over it that shows what it looks like. But they really wanted to show this off. I mean, and you can even see, look at these two. These are two slightly different models, so they had even refinement over time. This is the later one, and this is the earlier one. You can see that he's a little pudgier. But they showed every angle of, like, every character all the time. So many different pieces to show off this new 3D technology. They really wanted you to know that this game was 3D. And there's so many different promotional shots for this. It's kind of insane.
Where's the angles of Candy Kong?
I'll go
for science.
Yeah. And then of course once they came up with Diddy Kong, they decided to run with the idea that Cranky Kong is our Donkey Kong from the original arcade game, which is a piece of lore that I'm actually shocked they're still running with. Like, that's the kind of thing that you expect to go away after a while, but they're still running with it even now as we go into the Switch 2 era. But before the game even came out, there was also commercials and promotional items, and I'm actually going to show you this one in full, because I love this video. This is DKC Exposed, which was a VHS tape that they sent to Nintendo Power subscribers, and they got to see a video detailing early parts of the game.
And it's like, whoa, and it blows your mind.
It's all the shading and stuff. It's really well shaded.
Very
It
90s.
looks so rounded.
And you're really going to think that it's a game that's a generation ahead of its time.
Yeah, brilliant.
Last second timing stuff in there where you have to jump real quick.
I think a lot of people are going to be surprised at the kind of game that Donkey Kong Country is.
Yeah, play it loud.
90s.
Parents don't get it. I don't know. I don't really think Play It Loud is like a successful marketing brand for Nintendo. It was so short-lived.
Here we are today on our way to Redmond, Washington to take an exclusive
I don't
insider's look at
remember
Nintendo's new
this
revolutionary
guy's
unreleased
name,
game,
but
Donkey Kong Country.
He was more or less like a guy that they kept calling to do these, so I assume he was just an employee of
Guys,
Nintendo
we
of
finally made it.
America.
Nintendo of America,
That's,
the fortress.
that's
Let's
Jay.
find out what
He's in a
Donkey
movie
Kong
with
Country's
Silent
all
Bob.
about. Let's go inside. Let's do it. Hey, it's Ken Lobb, development manager. Hey man, how's it going? Donkey Kong Country, how you
By
doing?
the time the
What is deal with this here?
GameCube started to come out, Ken Lobb would actually move over to Microsoft and work on the Xbox.
So, Ken.
You want a banana?
No thanks. Ken, I want in on this Donkey Kong Country thing. I want on the inside.
I don't know.
Can me and you, pal, we go back a long way? Come on. What do you think? Old time's sake?
Okay, I'll take you to Treehouse.
The treehouse.
So this is actually the treehouse that they still use even today.
What's the password? Diddy.
Password. Diddy? Yeah!
They actually made it for this game.
You know, after about
I guess
1,000
that does
ditties, we
make
finally
sense.
get into the
Yeah.
treehouse. We're gonna say hello to Tony Harmon. He is the product development manager here at Nintendo. Tony, how you doing?
Pretty good. Welcome to the treehouse.
Thank you very much. And I want to know, the story behind the game.
I'm here to talk about the story. I'm the wrong guy. We need to get Dan here. This is Dan Oster.
Oh, Dan!
What's up?
How are you?
I love how they're talking about it like Nintendo made the game and Nintendo of America made the game.
For Donkey Kong. We gave him a world to live in, some supporting characters. Foremost among those, Diddy Kong, the little Kong wannabe monkey guy.
Little Kong wanna?
He's a cool little dude who follows Kong around, tries to be just like
Gosh,
him.
listen to that
The story
funky
actually picks
90s
up with
beats.
Diddy, sitting in the jungle, guarding the banana horde. No sooner does the storm start, nightfall, Kremlings come, stuff Diddy in a
Kremlings,
barrel.
what are...
Kremlings are the tribe
Does
of
sound
evil
like Tony Hawk
reptilian
menu
beings
music.
who inhabit the island. They're very envious of Kong.
But this is a beta build of the game, so you notice some things are different. The sprites of the bananas are a little bit different, and DK actually couldn't kill Clump by jumping on him there.
Take off with the loot.
Donkey wakes up and...
Next day, Kong wakes up. Where's my bananas? He goes out to find him. rescue his little buddy, find out where he is.
But Kong's angry. He's got his little buddy back, but he needs his bananas. So we get the Gremlins, we got Diddy, and we get the big fella. Tony, did you have a favorite character? Are there more characters in this?
There's a lot of characters. I like the whole Kong family. We got Cranky. Cranky's the star of the original Donkey Kong game.
Still alive, is he?
Dad or grandfather played that game.
Wow.
Then we also have Funky Kong. Funky's
Dad or
California
grandfather.
surfing kind
Game was only 10 years old.
Yeah,
The game-
he rides funky flights, and the funky flights allow you to fly around to different parts of the game. We also got Candy Kong. Candy Kong is Donkey Kong's love interest.
Okay, good. I was wondering, maybe I could take a look at the game?
Yeah, sure. Right over here.
These guys are so easy. Yeah.
This is Armand, and this is Rich.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, hey.
These guys test Donkey Kong Country for a living. We have hundreds of areas in Donkey Kong Country, and these guys have to play each area probably 100, 200 times each, weeding out all the bugs.
I love the random renders they tape to the window.
Which makes it a 32 meg game, the biggest game ever. 32 megs allows us to do a variety of action and a variety of backgrounds. We have snow levels, jungle levels,
The pyramid type level.
pyramid levels,
The
cave
scaffolding level,
The forest levels.
the industrial level.
Underground, factories, all kinds of
A lot of different
bizarre
levels in
places that you wouldn't expect to find on an island.
Yeah, it does. We've got a bunch of guys that call it goodies. These guys help you out. We got Randy,
Gosh, they're all
who's a
talking like
rhinoceros
they
who bashes
barely
through some walls,
care.
likes to find some hidden areas. We got Winky the frog. He's bad. He can jump on
Can't
top of a
forget
lot of carrots.
Espresso either.
Yeah, we got Espresso. That's an ostrich, a flying ostrich with these little bitty wings and goes flapping along the top of the screen. We have a lot of other special effects we do as well. On the snow level, we have 12 different layers of snow going back and forth. We have forest levels with parallax scrolls for dimension in the game.
Well, how did this project get started?
Visited my friends at Rare. Rare's been working with Nintendo for a number of years, and Tim Stamper, the head creative person there, was telling me about an idea he had to make a game out of fully rendered characters.
This is the only mention Rare gets.
I was just curious as to how you made them look so real.
Because we're based in Twycross, we have a zoo about 2 miles away.
Ah, you went to the zoo.
The zoo, yeah, and had a good look at the gorillas and the monkeys, and with video cameras, it was pretty funny.
Hey, big fella.
This is true. They actually did go to the Twycross Zoo to look at gorillas, but they actually found that the movements weren't good enough, so they based Donkey Kong's movements off of a horse.
To produce a 3-dimensional model that we can display on a computer screen.
So, what do we got to eat here?
So today we got the cream of banana soup, the banana and peanut butter sandwich.
Hey, well, your name is George,
George Zachary from Silicon Graphics.
I was wondering if you could help me out a little bit in explaining the game.
Sure, it's a really cool game. It was created on this thing called the Challenge, which is this really advanced supercomputer. Basically, picture 20 supercomputers in a box.
Now, with all this technology, am I going to have to buy an adapter for my home Nintendo?
Not at all. In fact, when the game was created on the Challenge, it was basically specially output to the Super Nintendo game system.
Literal
So it
Donkey
basically comes
Kong.
across
Yeah,
all these
literal
different
Donkey
buttons.
How do
Kong.
we make the roundness, the 3D?
Actually, it was created on the Challenge, first in wireframe. Actually, then you grow shade them, or you can Phong shade them, and then you actually texture map them. And you can even trilinearly bitmap interpolate.
That sounds a little dangerous. Let me ask you this. I heard downstairs something about ACM
Yeah, that's
technology.
advanced computer modeling. Basically, what you can do with it is it lets you create fully realistic, fully rendered 3D graphics, so the person has a sense of really being there. Same computers that we used in Terminator 2, Jurassic Park, new movies like True Lies, Mask.
A year and a half later, we're closing on the finish of the game.
Looks a little more
All right, here we are.
comfortable,
We're
like
about to talk to
reboot.
two guys who play this
Yeah.
game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And guess what, folks? Guess what? They get paid. This is Henry. Henry, say hello. Hey, what's up? Henry,
Rare
I
has
wanted to
talked
make
about
you
how much of a
show us
pain it
tips,
was to
pointers.
develop this because the computers would get really hot, and so they didn't have air conditioning, except for the rooms that had the computers in them.
Donkey Kong can drop down there and he can knock the keg out of the floor. And he can roll
And
it
as
up
long
against
as
the wall.
basically they said as long as the computers were
Donkey
running,
Kong will just cruise
that's all
right
they
to the
that's
first
all they
part of
could
the
care
stage.
about.
It's a good way to get people started off. You can just bowl over some of the tougher enemies that might have gave them a problem. Yeah, hey, you hungry? You want a banana?
No.
Well, I guess I could show you something else too. This is a snow level later on in the game.
It is snowing.
Donkey Kong can now ride thin barrels and shoot out. And this one part here is a series of barrels, and if you can navigate it properly,
Could we have
almost perfect and not miss anything.
could we have done
you can
this
score
in
a
like
bunch of
more
free
than
men at
one
the end of the
take?
Bunch of free, not just one.
A bunch.
You can tell how much he's played the level.
There it
Is
is.
it very hard?
It's tough. You gotta get it down perfect.
That's a different
Wow,
sound
you get a bunch
effect.
of free minute. Let's go talk to Isaac. This is Isaac. Isaac, say hello.
Hello.
Isaac, I was wondering maybe you could show us a couple more pointers. Possible?
Yeah, I can do that. No problem.
These guys are great.
All right.
What do we got? We got more
Okay.
snow.
Yeah, we have more snow here.
Okay.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna
Nope.
jump on this
Beta
igloo
numbers.
and use this really slow vulture. It looks peculiar. Peculiar enough to get us into a bonus level.
Bonus.
And I must say, this is one of over 100 bonus levels.
100 bonus levels.
Yeah, and in this bonus level,
Not
you
something
have
you see
to,
in every game.
absolutely.
I looked it up.
You have to
There are,
guess which
39
barrel
bonus
that this
levels.
golden medallion's gonna
Well,
be.
so the game, the marketing for this game, they liked to use the term over 100 levels, which is true if you count a bonus area as a separate
Okay,
level.
the second, tip
So
of
it's
the show
kind of disingenuous.
involves our little friend Diddy.
The 39 levels,
Diddy's the cool
67
guy.
bonus,
You
so
walk over to this
107
little thing
total.
here, you jump on
Yeah.
top of it, you're gonna grab that
I mean,
rope,
that's a
let
lot
the
better
rope
than
take you
Super
over,
Mario
jump
World,
right
considering
on top of
every
that little
exit
stump
its
there,
own
hit
level
the
in
TNT,
marketing,
walk
because
over to
that's
this
just,
oil can,
that's
blow it
just
up,
false.
alright.
I looked it up because
Now,
they
what
said
you wanna do in this
hundreds.
bonus level
Yeah.
I
is
get, does
jump
107
out of this
count as
canister,
hundreds?
No, that counts as 100.
So we have some pointers now. Good thing you came with us, because you learned some things today that, boy, you're not going to learn just anywhere else. You thought it was going to be a waste of your time, didn't you?
Fried green bananas. Bananas au gratin. Video game music should draw you into the game. In
Probably
Donkey Country, we had
in a
graphics
dump.
that were way better than anything that's ever been done.
Or rotting away in a
It's music
warehouse.
better than anything that's ever been done. This music, for example, is very upbeat, fits with the jungle. It's an early level. The level's not very hard. The music is kind of nice. Okay, now here we have the music that goes with the water level. Now,
So
this
it's
level, you
unfalse
just finished a
advertising? I mean,
really
it's
hard level in the
oh my
game. We use
gosh.
this music on this really easy level. It's kind of a reward.
Hey, can you get a shot of me pretending to swim real quick?
So we're gonna put this music on the CD. You know, something that's
We
big
saw
in
on the
Japan
last
for many,
stream how
many
much
years is game music on
less
CD.
honest the American
Hasn't been a
ad
big
from
hit in
the
America
Japanese
because maybe
ones.
the music hasn't been
Oh,
quite
yeah.
up to what you hear on the radio.
I mean, in both cases, the advertising for this game was actually pretty similar. They really just focused on the 3D graphics.
Smurfs attacking him on the scaffold level. What are the big blue
Well,
buff?
the reason why I like it is because for
You
one
can't
thing,
kill
they're
crushes in
blue
this
and
one
they're
either.
buff, and
Then when you hit them,
and
they kind of bounce.
The morphing rocks.
The
Those
morphing
guys are
rocks.
so cool, man. You touch these barrels and the lights turn on and off. And these rock guys are just kind of rolled up. When you hit this light, they unroll and they start walking towards you. It's so cool.
It's
And you gotta switch them on and off.
Sounds a little
and stuff.
scary.
Yeah, on guard's the fisher ride, and he just kind of pokes you with his swordfish front. And
Pokes the bad guys.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
do you guys get to ride? Do we get to ride minecart?
Actually,
Oh, yeah.
the minecart was a favorite stage. It's
That's your favorite stage?
Yeah, it's a
Not since Bill Gates
Mining?
green screening himself over Doom.
You're
I
in the
forgot
tracks,
about
a lot
that.
Broken, so you gotta avoid, a lot of
So at
broken
what point
tracks,
of
fall in
development
the
was
caverns.
this? They seem to
Well,
have all
this
the names.
well this released in '94. If I had to guess, it was likely made in like June or July because it looks like it's summer here, and it probably released sometime in August. Like this sort of thing doesn't look like it takes long to make.
Still getting better stages. There's certain stages I can improve on and keep getting better.
Because this definitely came out the year.
Before November 21st.
Yeah, see, because they're talking about November 21st, the date it came out. And this is the other thing. All the ads look like this. Fast editing, flashing lights in your face. It's not on 32X. It's not on Sega CD. It's just on your console. You don't gotta buy anything to play this game. This game kicks your balls and it tells you to ask for more.
10 Dennis's.
I should have given you guys a seizure warning. This stuff hurts my eyes sometimes.
I guess they figure it looks less impressive if you see an extended amount of gameplay at once. I don't know why necessarily.
Let's take a look at some of the advertisements. Because, hey, it's the same exact type of editing. Deep fried flashing lights classic. Exactly. The bodacious beast. The prime primate. The first fully rendered video game ever. Now that's just a lie. Because every game is rendered. If it wasn't rendered, you couldn't see it. Oh my gosh. And here's even more. It's the same thing. They're flashing lights in your face with impact font text.
I feel like the people who made these ads didn't know what 3D render meant, so they just threw the word render.
Well, to be honest, nobody knew what it meant. That's why they could get away with saying that. They say it's 16-bit. What does that mean? Nobody knew. They just knew that the bigger the number, the better. That's literally what the Jaguars advertising was about. It's got 64 bits. Okay, what does that mean? It's a bigger number. Do the math.
I'm thinking of that ad with the like condescending lady in the class.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they could have just done this. They could have said good things about the game, because it's a great game.
It is. Like, can you... It feels like I'm watching one extended commercial. So, that's essentially the advertising...
Let's see what's in here.
They did another one? Oh, right, at the end of it, I forgot that you snuck in a sneak peek for Killer Instinct. I forgot about that part.
Specifically for our upcoming Donkey Kong Country game, which debuts for the Super NES November 21st. It features superior, never-before-seen 3D graphics and unbelievable...
And you can hear the uncompressed version of DK Island Swing here that they made before the sent it over to the programmers to shrink it down.
Given that Donkey Kong was like the arcade game, it must have been weird at the time to see it turn into this.
This, absolutely. Oh, here's an ad for the Game Boy Color version. I will be showing off the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance version real quick. But they're actually using the TV show models for this.
It's a jungle in there. Donkey Kong Country, rated E for everyone on Game Boy Color.
Get into it. Thank you, Ben Stein.
Oh gosh, this one became a meme last year. Just the shot of the gorilla swimming, because famously gorillas can't swim.
Runaway minecarts, only for Game Boy Advance. Rated everyone.
Yeah, I know, they look good because they actually gave them fur.
Leaping rhinos, giant bees, flying chimps, only for Game Boy Advance. Rated everyone.
Now this is the area where you have to sound bored, like you're...
Oh yeah, I'm above. Yeah, the late '90s was we're all above everything. The Howie scream.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, who's getting killed? Who's getting murdered back there? It's just Donkey Kong Country.
What CD systems were out at this time?
The Sega CD was out. The Jaguar CD was not out yet. The 3DO was out.
We should revive Naked Donkey Kong. We should make that into a meme.
Somebody already made a new version of it for the new design. So all these advertisements across the Anglosphere are pretty similar to each other. The one that's different is the Japanese version. I would like to have that box, but it's like $5,000. The Japanese commercials are a little different. They're still flashing lights in your face, but he's talking over it. And they also, I love when Japanese commercials do this. And I don't know why it's only, I don't know, like, they have music from the game that they've remixed. And like, I want to hear that.
Do you think that was a functioning model like the talking Mario had at conventions?
It was! And actually, I will show it to you. Hold on. DK hits on 90s chicks. That's not it. Donkey Kong. Oh my gosh, hold on. Donkey Kong Country CES. Are you kidding me? Ah.
Them YouTube search algorithms at work.
Yeah. There's a, okay, so there's a video out there, and I don't know where it is right now, because I've watched it multiple times. Basically, they had a live talk to Donkey Kong thing. It used that model, and he would talk to people, and they would use that 3D head and everything. They did the same thing with Mario later. Charles Martinet was actually playing Donkey Kong at that convention show.
Here, I'll send you a link.
If I remember... Yeah, here, the advertisement for a Donkey Kong promotional shake.
There you go, it's in the voice chat.
That's it. And this one's... It's a much more charming Donkey Kong costume.
Yeah, those costumes look very slightly redesigned, like how they made Crash cuter in Japan.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I love this one. Getting them in the costume onto that ostrich is not easy. Because, you know, in order to get on an ostrich, you can't just jump onto it. You have to go from a higher platform and lower yourself onto it, otherwise they freak out.
There's a dancing minigame?
There is. Oh, they're behind the scenes. We got behind the scenes of him falling off the ostrich, and then they gotta catch it. Yeah, just run around. I've never seen this one. I understood banana. Anyway, I guess the point of this is, because we're going to kind of end up seeing a lot of the similar things all over the place, but this game had a massive advertising campaign. They did promotions everywhere. They wanted everyone to know about this game. And perhaps rightfully so. A 100 levels. There's that claim again of 100 levels.
I feel like they thought they really had to work to sell a redesign of such a beloved property.
I mean, it was a big undertaking, so I'm not surprised. Anyways, yes, that's the... And then, of course, we've got the... Here it is. Let me see if I can skip to the bit here. Here's Guile. Hold on, Guile playing Donkey Kong Country. Gosh, nerds look the exact same as they did back then. Here we go. That's Charles Martinet. Gosh.
Smooth Kong.
Very smooth. And then after the game came out, of course, there was other promotional materials. While there had been a Donkey Kong manga previously, it was always tied to, like, Mario media, and they never really did much more than the original stuff every once in a while. But now we've got, like, this comic from... I don't remember who published it, but it's a comic that was made about Cranky Kong's old days, because some reporter wants the inside scoop. There's a novel, Rumble in the Jungle, where they just traced over the renders for every single illustration. Then, of course, there's the German Club Nintendo comics, which they had their own story. Uho Uho Donkey Kun, which is an adaptation of all 3 Donkey Kong Country games, but they started with the first one. Look at Diddy's design here. That's not Diddy Kong. I don't know who that is. That's some 5-year-old child. I mean, the design. Everyone else looks kind of funky. There he is, kind of funky. But Candy's the weirdest one. Why does she look like that? Absolutely baffling. But there was just a lot more going on with the series now. And now that I've shown you all of that, I think it's time we actually get into the game. Let me just... Wrong one. Gosh dang it. There it is. Perfect. Let me just make sure that this...
Still, yeah, it's still wider than the window.
It is, yeah. There we go. Now it's at the proper resolution. Kind of.
We love stretched and then unstretched video footage.
Stretched and then unstretched, of course. That was a human, not a monkey. Yeah. Does DK have a slight NY accent, or we're just hearing things? Well, Martinet was in Washington. He had to have been in order for, like, being able to work for Nintendo of America. So me and Zalrog are going to two-player team this. That's a good phrase to use in your daily life. It's a little quiet, so let me just turn this up. That's better. Now, I've played this hundreds and hundreds of times, so I'm very familiar with it.
I've played it dozens and dozens of times, so I'm mostly familiar with it.
We will be 100%ing it. That's non-negotiable.
Easy. I do like 2 a little bit more as a game. This is definitely my favorite part of the franchise, just in terms of the aesthetic and the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, they really tried to go for a realistic look with these.
I like not cartoony Dong. I'm one of those few.
That's a terrible sentence. Anyway, while Zelrog talks about his sexual, while he talks about his sexual preferences, this first one is.
I didn't even think that I said it. It's just natural to say Dong.
I'm gonna not bother going for the tokens. If I see them in bonus levels, I usually just skip them because the only thing you get is extra lives. And if you're like
just time consuming.
Yeah, and if you're good at the game, you don't need it, especially since it sends you back to a checkpoint or the beginning of the level. It's unfortunate that DK is only playable. That I actually do think is unfortunate. I kind of wish that DKC 3 had him available. Because I feel like he would have been a fun addition to Dixie, and it's a pairing that they don't really use. All right, I'm gonna give you a shot to play a little bit.
That he's only in one of the 3 Donkey Kong Country games.
Yeah, I mean you revive your franchise, you give them new look and everything. It's down there. That's the one. You revive your franchise, you give it a brand new look, you advertise the heck out of it, and then the second game he's kidnapped and you don't play as him anymore. But I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to 2 and 3.
And they do. We just have to discover the bonus. We don't
actually have to finish them. No, unless you're playing the Game Boy Advance version. You don't necessarily have to complete all of them, but oh, there it is. You're better off rolling into armies if you're Diddy.
But yeah, I hesitated because my brain thought for a second that that last Kong letter was a bonus. I don't know why I thought that. Like, I need to get that.
When we get to the Game Boy Advance version, though, which I'll just show off more so for visual flair, the Kong letters are actually required for 100% completion in that game, and sometimes they're hidden in bonus levels, so you have to go through all of them just to make sure. In fact, there's one particularly mean one near the end of the game where all 4 of the Kong letters are in the bonus.
I'm thinking of that bonus that they hid inside a bonus.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that one when we get to it.
Which they also did once in 2, but in a less mean way.
Yeah,
It was
that one's
pretty mean,
they
but-
stuck a hero coin inside of a bonus room in that one.
Yeah, and they did it. Didn't they do it once in 3 as well?
No, nothing like that's in 3. You almost missed. Yeah.
I almost did. What frame rate is this game?
I'm pretty sure it runs at 60. I don't have a reason to believe it doesn't. Most games ran at 60 this day.
60,
yeah. It wasn't until the N64 and other 3D games when they had more to worry about that they were like, you get 20. Ocarina of Time running at 20 is crazy. So the slogan 100 levels actually fits for the GBA version? I mean, it's not true there either, but sure, we'll take it. We gotta stop by Cranky at least once to show him off.
Yeah, that's true.
Good job.
Probably should have thrown that, yeah. Well, maybe I'll need this later. Look, we gotta put on a show. We have to be bad at the game or it's not gonna be interesting to watch.
You're right. That's why people love speedruns. They can be really mean about the bonus locations though, because there's often no indication of which wall you have to break open.
That is a difference between this game and 2, is that there are cases like that one tree one was one of the meanest. It's just
Yeah.
a leap of faith.
Yeah, that's the whole level when we get to Orangutan Gang. They have 5 bonus barrels and they're like all hidden in a location that seems like it should kill you. But nope, you go out of your way for that. So if you're playing this game casually, you'll probably notice that Donkey Kong's not exactly the best character to be playing as, and I think that's part of the reason why they swapped him out. DK is just he's very slow compared to Diddy. When he jumps, he gets really tall, which is bad because that means you're more likely to hit something. Diddy's faster. Sure, he can't kill crushes, and he can only kill clumps by rolling into them, but that's such a small price to pay to be able to have more maneuverability.
He feels fine to play Donkey Kong, but yeah, Diddy is always the king.
Here, I'll show off Cranky once because if you're any good at this game, he's useless. 2, if you've played past World 1, he's useless because he just rambles about nothing. Pretty good to get this far. Leap of faith is all it takes to find Winky and Barrel Candy Kitten. He's not even talking about the animal buddy Winky. He's talking about a coin. If you get stuck, come back and see me, right? He only gives hints about World 1. In the data, there are actually hints for every level in the game, but he only gives hints for World 1.
So that has to be an oversight.
Probably. They added them back into the GBA version, so he has proper hints for every level now.
Can you choose it, or are they still random?
They're still random. He just talks. Like, yeah, there goes Grandpa again. I mean, at least his ramblings are a little nicer than they are in 2. So no matter what, he's useless. Oh yeah, he's pretty much useless no matter what. Which is, I don't wonder if that's the point. Like, he's just useless, but he thinks he's all that in a bag of chips.
Back in my day, girl characters had to be the damsels.
Yeah, that's what he says in 2 when we get to
Thanks,
Dixie.
Frankie.
Yeah, alright, okay, let's get you... Yeah. Not Tanked Up Trouble. I think you're thinking of Platform Panic, the final level of the game. DK's throwing arc makes that level a lot easier.
I would much rather play as DK than Dixie or Kitty, though. Personally.
I mean, me too. But, I like Dixie and Kitty as a duo. I think they complement each other very well, and having a heavy and a light character, having a heavy and a light character is a much better offset than 2 light characters. Because Dixie kind of outclasses Diddy in 2, because of just her ponytail ability. Who cares that she's a little bit slower and doesn't jump as high?
I one cares.
So luckily for us, no water levels have bonus rooms in them.
Oh, they don't count those little areas you have to...
No, those are just alcoves, and I'll just use Funky here once because I don't know why they couldn't just let you just move around the worlds at your leisure, but sure. Here, let me give you a shot.
Well, it doesn't make in-universe sense. You
So-
have to find a way to get around DK Island quickly. There aren't any bonuses in the first half the level, are there?
No, I think our first bonus comes after our first bonus comes after the bonus barrel. Okay, the
Just
save
skip
barrel.
the level. No one wants to see it.
I do this every time.
It's too easy not to.
Yeah.
How was anyone not discover that?
Well, you messed up your chances to get up
Yeah.
there.
Guess I'll just die.
Oh, that's your plan?
Not like we can't quickly get back there.
I'm surprised I made that jump. Hold on.
Again, a thing that I'm sure you'll talk about more when you get to the actual game. It is so bizarre to me that they so arbitrarily made new Kongs in 64 when they
Yeah.
had all the same basic archetypes.
Oh yeah, I mean, the people have actually asked the developers about that, and they went into the reasons why they did that. And it more or less they felt like they had to. Because new characters would sell the game, and like, and they wanted to make it feel like it was like a big new thing with having 5 characters to differentiate itself, not only from the country games but also from games like Banjo-Kazooie that have only 2 characters.
Imagine there was just like one particularly mean reviewer who hated Kiddy Kong, and that's what made them.
I messed up. Oh well, that's okay.
Oh no.
We'll do it the legit way.
People hate this character? People don't want to play as him?
I've got half a mind to think that they made Kiddy Kong so that, like, okay, look, we gotta make a character that absolutely won't steal the main character's spotlight, because we did that twice. Make it a baby, who cares? Despite jungles being such iconic imagery for the series, there's only 3 jungle levels in this game. Like, if we were to go based off of purely, like, the number of themes each level has, then it should be called Donkey Cave Country.
How many cave levels are there?
More than any other type. Cave, mine shafts, and, like... Yeah, caves and mine shafts make up most of the levels in this game. You're gonna see them everywhere.
I'm trying to think of the game that had like more or less exactly 2 of every level type. I know there's a thing, and I just can't remember which game it was.
3 and 2 both more or less have about 3 of each type, with some exceptions made for the Lost World. But this game has a one-off theme with the ice caves.
That's
funny.
right. I guess it's easy
Yeah.
to forget that the ice caves are in the game because they only appear for that one level.
Well, I actually think that makes it more memorable because it's just like, wow, there's only one of these.
When I think ice caves Donkey Kong, I just tend to think of the second game because of that.
Hmm. So, do we play Minecart Madness or do we skip it?
All right, there is a skip for it. I actually like the minecart levels. I'm that weirdo.
I don't hate them, but it's just faster to skip them. So when I play the game, I usually just skip it.
I'm gonna show the level because I like it.
A good idea. Hey, if you die past the halfway point, I can probably do the glitch.
There's a glitch?
There's a glitch you can do to, like, not enter the minecart. If you, excuse me, but you have to die after the halfway point.
Well, now we're obligated to show it off.
If we show it off, we show it off.
Normally, you like playing on hardware. We're doing something a little different because
I mean,
I
lately,
don't have my Switch available at the moment.
Lately, for streaming, I've actually been taking a liking to using emulators because it just skips the hassle of me connecting and disconnecting everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be right there, Diddy.
Oh, it's back to me again.
Yeah, when we die, we switch. When we complete a level, we don't. They actually changed that in the other games. Now you switch.
So is there a
like, no
way
matter
for
what.
me to switch to you? Is the question.
Not in the minecart.
Okay, so we can't do the glitch. Oh well.
It's not a big deal. Basically, you just, like, mash the roll button when you get out of the... You mash the roll button when you get out of the bonus... the save barrel. And, from there, you can actually just keep rolling in the air consistently. Ah, gosh.
Are you going to show off the bug where you just go flying up in the air?
I don't know that one. Right at the top of my head.
It's a speedrunner thing. You jump on enemies in a certain order, a certain number of enemies, and you just go like sailing up above the level. I'm doing bad today. And he takes like 30 seconds to come down, and you can just kind of fly over most of the level doing that.
I don't actually know that glitch.
I did it by accident when me and Jack played this game, and I'd never seen it before. I guess he knew about it from speedruns.
I mean, one of my favorite bugs is the one you can do in level 1 with the silver Donkey Kong.
I don't know that one either. That should have killed the Kremlin. I'm just saying.
Well, in the newer games, you...
You know, I'm old. My reaction times aren't what they used to be.
Not including remakes, what is your least favorite mainline DK game? One of them's gotta be at the bottom, even though I like them all. I think it's gonna be DK64. I think DK64 just has a lot of problems. Like, I like playing it, and I'm a collectathon guy, so I love, like, just seeing my numbers go up, but I'm not gonna pretend like DK64 I'm not gonna pretend like DK64 is just really all that well designed. It's got problems. And I'll get to it when we get there, but yeah.
World's coldest take.
Yeah.
I probably know the answer. You prefer the Banjo games to DK64.
I would probably rather play Banjo-Kazooie or Tooie over DK64. Alright. There's one coming up here.
I know that. I knew it was coming. I tried to preempt it, but I did a Smash Brothers short hop. That's
You did a short hop. I don't think I can do it. Essentially what happens though if you perform the glitch correctly is that you roll in the air and you can keep jumping and rolling in the air. And then you can just jump on the... So they have a minecart at the end of the level. They have a minecart right at the end of the level that's there if you use the warp. So you can just jump into that right at the end and skip it.
But there's no function to the glitch because it's faster speedrunning
It's
to
fast
just do the skip.
to just do the skip. Actually, you know what? It may not work on this version of the game, because this is the Virtual Console version, which I think is the latest release. Some glitches don't work on all these different versions.
That's true. They do tweak Virtual Console versions sometimes.
Well, it's more like, if this is the latest revision of the game, for example, that glitch where you can mash the B button to skip to World 3 on the world map doesn't work.
Was this game released later in Europe than Japan or the States?
Yes. Which is kind of funny, considering it was made in England.
Yeah. A lot of the times the European releases have the final revision of the released game.
Yeah, but there was also the Player's Choice release. I think part of the reason we're having such a hard time with this is because of the 8 frames of input delay.
Oh, is that what's going on with the net play?
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah, we have a little bit of an input delay on here, so that it gives our computers time to sync up.
Not a huge deal in levels other than this one.
Yeah. In fact, I'd argue that when we get to Minecart Mayhem, it's going to be less of an issue entirely. There we go. Bouncy Bonanza.
That's a track that doesn't get a lot of love. Can't imagine why.
They remixed it like 6 times in Donkey Kong Country Returns, and I love those versions. They really add they really make the tension.
I've never watched through a Returns playthrough. Game didn't click with me.
I like it more than Tropical Freeze. For a lot of for the same reasons as this one. It's just simpler.
I don't know if this is a hot take that that ukulele game looked like it felt more Donkey Kong Country than the Returns games.
Well, it pretty much is just more like one of these Donkey Kong Country games. Returns was doing its own thing. Ukulele was very much trying to play like this.
Which is what I want, because I'm old and I hate change.
Well, you know what? Donkey Kong Country Returns is now 14 years old.
I am 1 year older than this game. So, of course, I remember all these advertisements like they were yesterday.
Of course. Oh, I'm getting a phone call.
Swap? I always see that little icon. It's the banana icon up there, and I think it's collectible. I'm sure that happens to a lot of people. It's definitely the input delay that is messing with me. No. I don't think anyone cares about having a very similar problem with a Mega Man Battle Network thing. It's like a 3-point achievement, some dumb little mini-game. A throwaway mini-game that is harder than anything else in the game. Because it's just a thing where you have to have very, very frame-tight reactions. I'm gonna have to see if I have a better TV to play it on in order to, like, hope to get it. I just have to play more careful with the delay, that's all. Alright, another level with a... I don't think when I was a kid I ever did this level normally, because it was too easy to do this. That's another thing that, like, how would you ever not discover that? No. Enemy's called Rock Crocs. Okay, now I skipped a secret by doing that, I see.
Alright, now we actually get to play Stop and Go Station.
Yeah. That's alright, we showed it off.
In the Japanese version of the game, as well as the Game Boy Advance version, you can kill the Rock Crocs.
I see, with what, barrels?
Nope, DK's Hand Slap.
Huh.
DK's Hand Slap was actually a maneuver that was added fairly late into the game, and it was a specific request of Miyamoto.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
What a strange thing to request.
He does tend to just have, like, random weird ideas that people are obliged to throw in the game because he's Shigeru Miyamoto.
I don't like messing around. Straight to the exit.
I was gonna say the rock crocking is the that Ganon tech in Melee, not Melee, any Smash game.
Why is it called
named
rock
after a
crocking?
Smash player?
Oh, okay.
It was probably named after these enemies.
I love the names of the enemies. It's just, they're just cute, you know? They're all pretty memorable, too. Critter, Crusher, Claptrap, Clump, Rock Croc, Naughty.
It is great that this is a game that, like, shows you the enemy names at the end.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
that little adds so much flavor.
I love when games used to do that. Okay. Whew. Oh, yeah, you can do the infinite lives glitch here.
Oh, yeah. I've never been any good at it.
Well, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. I know I am. I've also, like, I've never been good at doing the Mario 1 either.
This one's really easy, though. All you gotta do is get in front of the Crusher. Just throw the barrel behind you. Oh, yeah, you
I
can
know
kill
how
him.
to do it. I'm just bad at it.
Alright, so just...
All right, let me see if I can get the timing right. And do I hold jump?
No. Well, maybe? You hold down and left. Alright, never mind.
That's what I didn't do.
Oh,
You can't
yeah.
even do it because you have to be Diddy.
You have to be Diddy, yeah. I love the look of these temple levels. I love the way the pixel art makes the trees in the back look so mystical. Sometimes, I'll turn on this game and just kind of take in the atmosphere.
Ruins dedicated to Kremlings and bananas, oddly enough.
Oh, yeah, what does that mean for, like, the lore?
I mentioned this to you. I've heard some people make the probably half-joking theory that Bonanza is a prequel and Donkey Kong just carves that island into his face.
I heard that one. That is
Island.
pretty funny. I like that idea. It's
Makes more sense than anything else.
Gosh, I don't know. Look, we know Nintendo doesn't really care about timelines when it comes to, like, Mario, but DK is a series that kinda cares about its lore, so I expect some explanation of what's going on. I've made the half joke that every Donkey Kong is cyclical. They get their own Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong and Cranky Kong. It's like Zelda.
And they are all doomed to become cranky.
So this game has two animal buddies that almost never came back. Espresso and Winky. What do you think of them? What do you think of I like Espresso. He's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I understand why they got rid of Winky, because they replaced him with Rattly in 2, and having a character who jumps high be vertical probably works better than one who jumps high being horizontal.
He takes some getting used to, Winky, but I still think he's fun. Calm down, Winky, you're fine.
I also remember Winky, that's the name of the bartender in Disney's Wind in the Willows. Good job. Oh, that's okay.
It's the delay. It's gotta be delay. I swear I'm good at this game.
OG.
See, now I just have to be, like, ultra careful about everything. Ultra careful.
Ultra careful.
I was gonna say when we were watching the commercials earlier, it's easy to forget that Super Mario World is a 90s game until you get to the bonus levels.
Mm-hmm. Necky's nuts. I was not confident.
They should have named it D, like Sweet D.
D. Everyone loves D's nuts.
Also, overwhelmingly common knowledge because who hasn't played this game, but they reuse every boss except for Dumb Drum and K. Rool.
And Queen Bee.
Oh yeah.
They just reused Necky and Naughty.
Okay, they reused two bosses. Trivia, misinfo.
I mean, Returns continued that because we got Mugly and Thugly.
DKC2 only really reused the bird, and it's a totally different fight, right?
Yeah, it's a completely different fight. He looks, I mean, and it's a unlike this where the fights are very similar to each other. Although when I show off the GBA version, they actually did. Hold on, that was a bonus.
Damn it. Oh, it was the. That's right. You take the tire up.
Yeah.
All
Just.
right.
Okay. You don't have to kill yourself. You can just come back.
I guess after you beat the level, you can just start select out of it.
Mm-hmm. This is not one of those games where you have to complete the level again for like a bonus to count. Thankfully. And Returns did not keep that tradition. You have to finish the level for the collectibles to count.
There's always those things in video games where you just like, you always assume something and never tried it because you wanted to be safe.
Exactly. And then it's like, oh, I can do that.
I've heard a lot of people who think that you have to hide from Sakon in Majora's Mask or he won't rob the old woman. Because they've just never not done that.
Sakon these nuts.
But, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, it's very specific. I love the look of these forest levels. I mean, we were saying it earlier, they really tried to make these environments look realistic. I'd say they mostly succeeded, but like, I think they didn't, you know, it's clear that this was an earlier example of this, because if you look at the environments in 3 has a lot of similar takes on these environments, but I think they do them a little bit better sometimes. Like, the water levels in 3 look so much better than the water levels in 1.
In a time where there were so many mascot platformers, this realism was what I felt gave Donkey Kong its identity compared to the others.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wasn't so much a fan of it going more cartoony again, because there's so many just, you know, cartoony platformers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think at that, I think after a certain point, though, you got characters that look like this. The world should probably reflect that a little bit.
It's funnier if it doesn't, though.
Here, you give a shot.
Come here, Mr. Beaver.
Oh, you use the naughty and not the necky.
Oh, there's a necky?
Yeah, there's a fast necky.
I never knew that.
You're gonna see us lose these a lot, because we don't know. You don't know if the reward's a 1-up or a token. And if it's a token, we really don't care.
That's easier for DK to get into because he's taller, right?
I think so. But he doesn't jump as high.
Is this the level that has the little safety barrel to save you?
I don't remember.
If you miss one shot. It's not a bonus, it's just they felt nice.
Okay. Do it again.
I love when you're carrying a barrel.
Yeah.
And you throw it, and your ally takes over, and then you come out of the barrel that you threw because you took damage. Very existential. There's a bonus. At least they give a hint for that one.
That's true. There are a lot that
many
there's
of
just there are a lot that they just don't indicate at all. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this is at this point though, strategy guides came for every single game.
Here's the spot. So this is the level. Just a little friendly safety barrel.
That's nice. You get kind of into a rhythm with barrels after you play this game
Yeah.
enough times. You kind of find your feng shui.
I guess maybe they figured because it was such an early level, they wanted to make the barrel stuff a little easier.
Well, we're approaching the halfway point because this game's only got 6 worlds.
That's true. I don't know why I was thinking we were still in World 2 for some reason.
Forest Frenzy. This, oh yeah, this game only has 2 forest levels.
Yeah.
They didn't really balance the... They didn't really do much balancing when it came to the level types.
I think you mentioned in the second game Onward, if a player beats a level, then it does switch to the other one as well, right?
Yes. Unlike here when we have to do it manually. But I'll stay in the lead because you died at the very end. This level's got a really mean bonus near the end.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. And if you don't know how to put barrels down, which is the thing the game doesn't tell you about, you can't really do it.
It is possible, but it's so much more difficult.
Yeah.
My God, bees.
Bees. I like zingers. I like that they kept showing up in things.
Yeah.
Weird that they replaced him with buzzes in 3, though. Because the
They
game
replaced a
went
lot
like,
of just
I mean,
kinda arbitrary things in 3.
It just went like halvesies on the mad scientist theme. If they went all the way and made like all the Kremlings robotic, I would be down for that.
They went full in on pirates in 2.
They did. They all went on pirates. This game was originally supposed to have more of an army theme, and you can find that in Crush and Clump. But outside of that, they didn't really go for it. Because, you know, in the earlier designs from that one, in the earlier pictures I showed you, like with Corporal Crizzle or whatever that one was, they were going to be an army.
I would have forgot that one. How do you make it? How do you make a soldier claptrap?
Give it a little beret.
Yeah. The very green berets.
They're blue.
Yeah.
Here it is. If you actually put down a TNT barrel, it shakes for a second and then explodes.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
You can't like pick it up again to reset it, can
You can pick it up.
Okay.
But I don't know what situations you'd really be doing that with a TNT barrel.
You know, you'd think like you'd never want to mess with a gorilla, but apparently compared to alligators, they're a very losing matchup in real life.
Just one hit and they're dead.
Or crocodiles, yeah.
All right, here you go. You can't do it here. Oh, that's a warp. Oh, never mind then. I thought it was a warp. In the
You
GBA,
get your secret senses. You got to check those places.
in the GBA version, they so there's a couple of warps that appear in. Oh, that was the bonus. There's a couple of warps that appear in. Just continue. There's a couple of warps that appear in other levels later down the line. Like there's one for this world. But to make it more in line with 2 and 3, which have warp barrels in the first 2 worlds, they removed all the ones that appeared later, and they added ones to every level in the first 2. It's such a weird thing that this series does, that in DKC 2 and 3, there are warp barrels for the first 2 worlds, but not after that. Well then, who's gonna find them? Not the advanced, not the newbies who would in theory want this. It would have to be, like, the veteran players who don't need it. So you better not have missed that, yeah.
Yeah, a little obvious that one.
On. You know, it's on, like...
No, you can't say that.
It's on, like, something. I'll think of something.
Thank you.
I don't know what happened there.
It jittered a little on my end.
You know what? Here, I'll let you keep going because you've been getting stuffed. Gosh dang, that was
Almost just
close.
did it
I was
again.
about to say. I give it to you for 2 seconds and you kill yourself.
So there is the input delay. Is it running smoothly on your end though? It's not jittering at all.
I saw that jitter. It's not like Nintendo Online where we're all essentially running our own version of the game. We are like connecting to each other and seeing the same thing.
Does it function the same where it has to like stop and let players catch up? It's just better like infrastructure.
No, we're actually just seeing it at the same time. It's like It's not like rollback. It's straight up just peer-to-peer. Well, I'm impressed at your ability that this keeps happening to you. Now, let me go back and...
Wouldn't have really been necessary, but in one of the remakes they could have made interesting.
What?
I've never seen that done. They could have made like a map remix for every world, like they did the battle themes in Big Mario.
Hold on a second. Did I not Oh, I can't configure. Did I not I could have sworn select would get me back out, but it's not working right now.
Huh.
Maybe I didn't bind the select button. Doesn't matter. We got it. And here we got Orangutan Gang.
Everyone's favorite level for bonuses.
5 bonuses. How mean. When I was playing the GBA version, they tell you how many bonuses are in each level on the stats screen. So I'm like, 5? Where the heck are they?
Gotta show this off at least once.
One time I was playing 2 on Game Boy Advance, and I downloaded a walkthrough from GameFAQs, and I printed it out. Now we go back, yeah.
They added some feature on GameFAQs, like experts. If you have like highly rated comments or something on a, there he goes. Rip.
Yeah, you gotta jump off Espresso to deal with those. Or slowly walk behind them.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever jumped off before.
It's not really worth it.
What a nice mechanic that is. The rolling
I
jump
do
in
like
this
rolling
game.
jumps. Yes?
Yeah.
They took this out of 2. There's no steel kegs in 2.
Yeah. Well, because Diddy and Dixie aren't old enough to drink.
Oh, yes, of course. Diddy and Dixie's ages always seem to me like they were like 17 to 19. I don't know. At the youngest, maybe 14, but they're definitely teenagers.
He's basically Robin.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong as voiced by Adam West.
You just reminded me of this one promotional video for Banjo-Kazooie. It was the same kind of thing. It was a VHS tape they sent out to Nintendo Power subscribers, and it had John Lovitz as the announcer, and he was just talking about Banjo. So I had the critic talking to me about Banjo. So we got to go back again. That's Manky Kong. The implications are astounding.
He's just from Manchester.
Manchester United. Get in.
There's one level in this game you need to get espresso from a bonus to access another bonus, doesn't it?
Not sure. Oh, no, you might be thinking of Ice Age Alley. You go left at the beginning to get espresso, and then you have to keep him all the way until past the checkpoint so you can get one of the bonus barrels. It's not a bonus area, but it is hidden.
Maybe that was it.
I'm glad the
I like the
ostriches are coming
simplicity.
back.
I like the simplicity of the animal buddies in this game.
Yeah, I mean, in here they're really more of like bonus. They're really more of like power-ups or bonus benefits compared to the other two, where they're more like particular stage gimmicks.
On Guard being the only perfect attendance between the 3 games.
That's Squawks. On Guard and
that's right.
Squawks, yeah. But his functionality changes after this one.
It's easy to forget that Squawks is this one because he's there, like Glimmer in 2.
Yeah. I think the one people forget about in 3 is Parry. Parry the parallel bird.
Oh,
He hovers
buddy, the thing that...
Yeah, he hovers above you. He can kill things like booty birds, but
Booty birds.
yeah, he can kill things like booty birds, but aside from that, he's not really able
So
to do
you have
much.
to jump into this pit that you would think would be death, and then in this bonus area, you have to jump into another pit you think would be death.
Well, at least it does show you the tire.
Oh, you can see the tire from that one.
Yeah. And then we got to go back in.
For the original one.
Just jump over.
I don't see the tire.
Oh, never mind then.
I guess maybe if you're down here a little bit? No, you can't see it.
Never mind then.
Coon.
And then here's what I like. I like to throw the barrel up there. Okay, so we got to go with plan B. Jump over Manky Kong and let him throw the barrel.
Oh, for a bonus?
Yeah.
Come on, buddy. Help a Kong out.
Wow, that was really tight.
Frame perfect, alright?
Nice job.
Was that 4 or 5?
That was 5.
Okay.
We did it.
Hey, why can't I take espresso into the water with me?
What, do you want an Americano? Come on, that was the best joke I've made all day.
I usually just blitz through this game, I swear.
Me too.
I'm being so messed up by the delay.
Don't worry about it. You think I haven't had this happen? My fastest playthrough of this game, 100%, is 1 hour, 7 minutes.
I was gonna ask that, yeah.
Oops. 1 hour, 7 minutes. That's my best time. That's when I'm like... I don't do speedrunning tricks, so I'm not gonna get, like, a world record. I just kind of play through it normally.
Do you have a fastest any percent?
No, I never bothered.
Yeah, like, why would... If you're gonna boot up the game and play, you might as well, like, get all the bonuses and everything.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel right. I like seeing 101% on that file select screen.
Did they, was it 101, 102, 103?
Yes. Although DKC 3 can actually go all the way up to 105. Because if you got the regular mode, there's 103. If you play on harder difficulty by inputting the cheat code, it's 104. If you play on toughest, it's 105. And that's how you get these special animations. So you know at the end of DKC 3 where you get like shown your score compared to everyone else?
Yeah.
You get a special animation of Cranky in a gi doing karate kicks and punches if you complete the game at 105%. And you get the special title, Mondo Monkey. If you use a cheat code to get all of the, coins, because there is a cheat code to just give you all of, yeah, you get Cheat and Chump.
It's also if you randomize it, apparently.
If you play the GBA version, they call you a Cheat and Chump for using the harder codes.
The junior version looks so much more intimidating than the big version. This just looks like a friendly guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Chomps, that's the name.
Chomps. Yep. I almost didn't know who you were talking about at first.
Why did I get
Why'd you get that?
I'm still looking for secrets, like there are secrets in these levels.
Yeah, no, we're fine. We're in the water levels. Although every water level does have Unguard in it. He's just usually hidden. I mean, there's only 4 water levels in the game. He better be in all of them, you know?
Never mind that the Kongs can breathe underwater. They can breathe in poison water. Not a problem.
Not a problem. They're built different. Here's Queen Bee, who puts up notably less of a fight than her husband.
The Bee boss in 2 was a gauntlet.
It
They
was.
put a lot of time into that boss. Is he the only one you fight as an animal buddy?
In 2, yes. In 3, you also fight Squirt as Ellie.
Yeah.
She's dead. And Diddy just looks on. Alright, World 4. Second half of the game now. This is usually the part where people start getting issues. Hey, they just showed us this in the video. Good thing I watched
This is
that.
a clip that plays during if you don't buy this piece of history, you're stupid.
You're stupid. That's right. If you don't buy this new generation of Donkey Kong madness, you are stupid. I know that's offensive, but it's also the truth.
This is definitely a difficulty spike, this world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will agree. World 3 really didn't have anything that was nearly as tough as this. And then I would argue that Creme Croc Industries has a bunch of levels that aren't as hard as this. Really, it's mostly the barrels.
There was, I think when I was very young, Creme Croc was where I would just get permanently stuck and never get past because I didn't know the roll mechanic, and that's like the only level that requires it.
I mean, this has ice physics too, on top of having to do these precise barrel shooting things.
I love the PTSD post-war music.
I've always wondered, why does the steel keg make like a water drop sound in this level when you throw it?
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it goes boom.
I get why it's just such a bleak music track.
It's very fitting.
Yeah, they gotta
very
show this off.
atmospheric.
I mean, you gotta see the snow get more snowy.
12 layers of snow, remember.
Hundreds of snowflakes. Not on Genesis.
Not on 32X. Alright, so here comes the... I think you aim...
Here or the next one?
I think you just aim down here.
Okay, it could have been either.
Alright.
I was thinking mash it like the ones that move up and down.
Yeah, no, I get it. This one's the one where you... Well, you don't do that,
Yeah.
but... Oops.
So do you prefer... Which do you prefer playing as in 2? You've mentioned you like Diddy more in this one.
I play about both equally, although there are some times where I really want the speed Diddy has, and of course Dixie is kind of necessary for some parts.
That was intentional.
Oh, you're not going to use the skip.
Oh, I forgot there was one. I had to clip the hilarious double minecart death.
Yeah, that was all the way in World 2.
I don't remember that.
Oop, missed. Having a little bit of
remember
problems with the
playing that.
barrels today.
Yeah, it's the delay. I remember when I was playing this off stream with Jack at some point. Oh, the jitter. Oh no.
Yeah, do the jitterbug.
I messed with him on that minecart level. I just said jump out of nowhere, and the place that I told him to do it, there was nothing he could have done. He lost both Kongs just because there was another cart waiting. Exactly
So hold
where
on.
he respawned.
Oh, I was gonna say if you point down on that barrel on the bottom there, yeah, there you go. Just does it for you.
No indication, but that's fine because this is a shortcut.
It's a
bonus.
shortcut, and that's the kind of thing. Look, games don't do that anymore, right?
See, they don't have like warps after World 1, but they do still have those scattered around.
Those
here.
scattered around every once in a while. They have lots of things you can do to skip the bonus, to skip the barrel shooting segments, which I find very interesting. This
I
song.
like that one's in a pit, so it's like easy for someone who's bad at the barrel segments to accidentally discover.
Yeah. They get. Why did this song make it into Smash? It's a good song, but they don't, and it's locked to the levels with Donkey Kong. So there's no good level for this. What do I put this on, like? Do I put this on DK Jungle? Congo? Do I put it on Congo Falls? Congo
Yeah,
Jungle?
you've complained a lot that
Jungle
there's
Japes?
only jungle levels for DK and Smash.
Yeah, and I think that could, well, they also have 75M, but I don't think this song really fits on 75M. I mean, I would love to see a remix of Minecart Madness. I've wanted a Crocodile Isle stage for the longest time.
This is such a more upbeat track than the outside winter track.
Maybe that's on purpose because it's nice in here.
Diddy has anger problems.
Yeah, he's young. Whoa, well,
I
there.
don't know why I hesitated.
Oops, sorry. Hold on, I got it. There we go.
How do these ropes work? Monkey magic.
It's slipping upwards.
Can you make the lava go up the walls? I don't see why not.
When I first played Donkey Kong Country Returns, I was thrown off completely by the rolling mechanics. And these games, when you roll into something, you gain speed and your roll is extended. In the Returns games, your roll just has a set length and that's it. So I rolled into the first 3 enemies and died. This
Easy
is
mistake
just
to make, sounds like.
Yeah.
That was just an O.
Fish.
Nope, don't want it.
Don't forget about that tricky one that's coming up.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. Ah.
Nice.
Oh no.
Do you want to be a man? Nah, me neither.
I think there's a thing in 2 where you jump over and have to jump down one of those shafts, isn't there? Or a setup similar to this one.
You're probably thinking of that one level in Krem Key where you have to jump over the zingers at the left. I only recently learned that it's supposed to be pronounced Key and not Quay. I've said Quay my entire life. It's supposed to be pronounced Key.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
And that's like, you know, like a key as in like a bay or something. And I'm like, oh, well,
Like
now that
Florida
makes
keys.
sense. What the heck's a Quay?
Is that how you spell it? Is that how you always spelled it?
It's a French word, I guess.
Because they usually when they say
Say
the
key,
Florida keys or such,
It's just
K-E-E.
key, K-E-Y. Yeah, exactly.
K-E-Y, yeah.
K-E-E.
Key.
Gosh, now that just reminds me of Monkey Combat from Monkey Island.
Monkey combat.
Yeah. In Monkey Island 4, there is this stupid mechanic called monkey combat. Basically, there are certain you pick a combat stance, and the combat stance you choose beats the combat stance of the other monkey. Every time you play,
get this right.
You can go
I
up
get
there.
another espresso inside, I think.
Yeah, there is another espresso inside.
All right. Ah, wait, what?
The necky.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
Anyways, you pick a combat stance, and it matches the combat, and if it beats the other combat stance, you like win, and then you progress through the game. And it's basically like the insult pirate fights from the first game, where you have to learn the order of everything. Well, every time you play the game, you don't know which answer is gonna be for which one. It's all randomized, which sucks because it means you have to go through this horrifically long process every time you play the game. And like which combination of monkey noises sends you to which attack stance is different, which ones beat which is different, and the only way to do it is through trial and error over and over and over again. And to make it even worse, to make it even worse, when you get to the final boss, they use this monkey combat, but you're not supposed to win. You're supposed to tie 3 times to beat the game.
Why?
I don't know, because LucasArts was on something crazy in the 90s.
I know nothing about that franchise, so...
Oh, I'm gonna fall off, aren't I? Okay, good.
I don't think I've ever actually done this. I think I've always just played, like, stupid careful and not gone off espresso to kill enemies. Did multi-life balloons ever come back after 1?
Yeah, they're in 2 and 3. They're not in the series anymore, though. I mean, what happens is you go to Cranky's shop and he just sells you, like, 7 red balloons. They also don't have DK's face anymore.
DK had a bit of an ego in this game.
Well, in 2 and 3, they look like Diddy and Dixie, respectively. Although in Donkey Kong Land 3, they didn't bother to make new sprites, so the balloons still have Diddy's face on them.
It would have been an interesting take if they just made, like, Donkey Kong the Kidnapped One. Or, sorry, Diddy Kong the Kidnapped One, and Donkey and Dixie were playable in 3.
Yeah.
Although it's obvious why they didn't, because of the different ways they hold the barrels. I guess they could have, like, changed the way DK holds his, but...
In DK64, there is barrel throwing, and every Kong can do it, but Tiny's never in a situation where he can pick up barrels, so that animation actually goes unused.
They should have been able to pick up and throw soda cans when she's small.
That's gotta be one of the strangest designs. Like, it came from a port of Diddy Kong Racing DS.
Whose design?
Tiny got redesigned for Diddy Kong Racing DS.
Ah, right, yeah, that is a infamous one.
It's weird because the situations under which it occurred don't really make a lot of sense.
Also, Dixie is still in, like, later spin-off games and looks the same.
Looks the same. She's in that game and she looks the same. I mean, Dixie's design was great. No notes, you know? Like, she looks exactly like how she's supposed to. So you've probably noticed, but Diddy doesn't actually have the stars on his shirt or the Nintendo logo on his hat yet either. The sprites never do, but they do add them to the 3D promotional models later. Well, congratulations. Play the Winky bonus.
I guess I have to. It's also worth noting that these were made with CRTs in mind, so people especially wouldn't have been able to see them.
Yeah.
And that's also the case with like the little JPEG artifacts.
Yeah.
Like the edges.
The CRTs would have blended that a little bit. It's interesting because there's kind of a debate right now over whether or not game developers were making games with CRTs like in mind. Because and on some things, like with pre-rendered games, it's like, oh yeah, the CRT obviously blends this image together, making it smooth. But they didn't work on CRTs. They worked on systems that with actual sprite art was like a grid. So they knew the pixels they were making were like pixels.
But were they considering the final product when they were doing so?
Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. Like, I think pretty infamously, the moon in one of the Castlevania games is squashed because the internal resolution for the SNES actually isn't 4:3. It's slightly thinner than that.
It does have a weird resolution, I remember that. Or no, maybe I'm thinking of Game Boy Advance has the weird resolution.
Does have a weird resolution, but the Super Nintendo, since they were going to be displaying them on 4:3 displays, some companies went out of their way to make it so the image is displayed correctly, so circles are still circles.
It was very debatable if they like designed graphics with the specific intent of how is this going to look on a CRT.
Yeah.
They definitely like did shortcuts because they knew they could get away with it on the low resolution.
Yes.
That was something people did. I love seeing the far off models of 3D characters that you're never supposed to see.
Oh yeah, like in Mario. You play Mario 64 on Switch, you're seeing that far off model in all its high definition glory, baby.
You don't even have to try to see them in Scarlet Violet.
When I was playing, I'm running a Fantasy Mario Baseball tournament right now, and we realized now that we have a higher definition display, when they're doing a replay of a play that just happened, they will actually zoom in on characters who are using their low poly models. Now, a low poly model in a game from 2009 is not quite the same thing as a low poly model in a game from 1996, but still, it's mostly noticeable with Bowser, because he's got a lot of thingamajigs all over him.
I guess that's another thing that works in Crash's favor, because the camera's always the same distance from him. He never needs to have a low poly model.
That's true. But they still have different quality models. Like, I think Crash and Cortex, they have different quality models for cutscenes and gameplay. So luckily, since we're playing the Virtual Console version, they don't flash light in your face.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
They had one frame of... Yeah. They had one frame of white covering the screen to simulate, like, I just flashed a light in your face, and people don't like having a light.
Because you do this a lot.
Yeah, and it's bad because you just go do, and then it's like, okay, can we stop? In fact, when I play these levels on Super Nintendo, I avoid turning around as much as I can.
Mother, a piece of... Diddy swears like that character in Home Alone.
I'm imagining it's like Yosemite saying, "Frassen."
Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah.
Which I supposedly he came up with on the spot because they told him he couldn't swear even though he wanted to for the role.
Bro, he laughed at you.
He did. You gotta teach him a lesson. You gotta get back at him, big bro.
No, I'm going this way.
There's G just hanging out. It's just there.
So what's interesting in Donkey Kong Country 3, I think you can actually roll into the crimps from the back to kill them, but in 1 and 2 you can't roll into the claptraps or the clampins from the back to kill them. You can only jump on them.
And if you do,
they turn around
Does it
and
show
bite
them
you.
turning around? Yeah.
No, they just kind of instantly switch, but they turn around to bite you. So many levels that I'm getting credit for where you just died at the end. Games like these still throw a lot of lives at you.
Yeah, we had I guess if anyone has been watching this whole marathon, we had the same discussion on the last one.
That one was worse. That one was like, I am dying like 6 or 7 times in some of these later levels, and I'm still maxing out the life counter at 99.
Well, I was gonna say, I was making the comparison between this and Crash, because Crash throws lives at you even more than this game does.
That's true.
I don't know why I'm bothering saving, but, you know, just in case.
I mean, yeah.
In case we have a nuclear meltdown. You already did this, so I didn't even...
I did, but you get Winky from it.
Winky definitely... He has more of a learning curve than the Snake, Rattly.
Yes. Then I mean, and in this game, he's the only animal buddy that can kill zingers. Rambi doesn't Rambi doesn't appear in any levels with zingers, but if you were to put him in a level with zingers, he actually takes damage from them.
Interesting.
Espresso
I know he didn't appear in any levels with them.
Espresso just dies if he touches anything. And then zingers obviously don't appear underwater, but I'm pretty sure the same thing would happen there, but they're never going to be in the same level anyway.
They should have made the Donkey Kong falling off Espresso animation when Espresso gets hit.
See how long he is?
I'm looking at the stream. I just went right through that.
Oh, there's a bottom. I actually think I like the modern. I actually think I like the modern critter design more than the ones from this game. The armor is cool and all, but I don't know. I think I like just the brown pants with the skull on it, and just the face design they gave him have a lot more personality.
I didn't even, like, really stop and think of that as armor, I guess. I don't know.
They're like shoulder pads and knee pads. It's supposed to be armor.
They look like Battletoads characters.
They do. Which is why people thought for the longest time that they were supposed to be Battletoads characters, but they're not. You almost got another Winky token. What is it with you and Winky? Oh my god. Oh, hey. Now we got really naughty.
Little known fact, this game is the first appearance of Sans the Skeleton. Yeah, he was a beaver when
He was a beaver. That's right.
It's the same kind of laugh that like the same bite that the Crushes make, right?
Yes. And it's just a cut-up sound effect of Donkey Kong's monkey noises.
Man, Rare doesn't even get credits for the bananas. Nintendo had to stick their logo on it.
I've always loved these. I love the look of the factory levels. Shame there's only 2 of them.
It goes without saying with almost any track in this game, but this is a very, very memorable, haunting one.
I would actually argue that Misty Menace, Cave Dweller's Chant, those two are probably the most forgettable tracks in the game. They don't really have a melody. I mean, they do. I've listened to them enough. I know what it is. There's nothing down there.
Okay, this wasn't the Ramby Pit.
No, the Ramby Pit is after the checkpoint. Because you know what we got to do first? The bonus inside a bonus room.
This is the bonus and a bonus one, which is especially mean because not only is it... well, first let's show what we have to do. I hate you, Winky!
You just love that frog, man. Anyway,
Well, I
there's
guess I'll wait until we actually do it later.
there's
All right,
no
go on.
indication that you have to do this, and if you don't, like, hug the wall when you throw the barrel, you just finish the bonus.
Yeah, not only do you have to know to get the barrel by getting all single bananas, you also have to do what's essentially a bug,
Yeah,
or what looks non-intentional.
that's not it. I said it was after the checkpoint. We didn't even hit the checkpoint.
I don't listen to things.
How goes the progress? We're going. We're doing it.
It's progress.
Donkey Congress. Vote now.
Can you imagine if, well, if commercials still existed, who has TV anymore? But if commercials in this day and age tried as hard as 90 commercials to use modern lingo. We gotta be up to date with the kids' slang.
I will actually do this one because I know that these just give you one-ups.
Donkey Kong Bonanza has Riz.
Oh, that sounds an awful lot like Nintendo Switch has games. Well, don't you remember that one Wendy's commercial where they were like, everyone likes Wendy's. The memers eating Wendy's chicken sandwich like a boss with the impact font.
I have not seen that one. No,
it's bad.
I do remember McDonald's putting up a. This was like a decade ago. They put up a billboard with an ad that said like such and such burger. I'd hit that without knowing what I hit that meant.
Reminds me of the remember for a while there was the Why I Stayed thing on Twitter, like years ago, and it was harrowing stories about why people stayed with their abusive partners. DiGiorno's comes in and says, "Why I stayed, you had pizza." Ooh.
Tasteful.
Yeah, well, they kept apologizing for that one. Alright, here's Ramby.
That's really just a pointless tire to keep with you.
Yeah. And it's really there just for that one part.
Oh.
Oh, I'm slick. He would get stuck down here anyway.
It's obvious to anyone who's played this game, the A button abilities were not invented yet. That was a
No, now pressing the A button in this one just switches your Kong.
I meant for the animal buddies. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's
also
what you
true.
meant.
You
You can't team up.
What a great addition that was. I wish there were more video games where you could throw your partner at people. That's the best part of Little Big Planet. It's like slapping people off ledges. Or what is the Grabinators? Was an item that let you pick up stuff. Is there something above me?
No, there's no more bonuses after this point.
I'm doubting myself now at every turn.
That's just a letter. Sorry, you're too light. I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of the claptrap at the end of, like, that just sits at the end of the level.
I don't have these games as memorized as I would like to pretend I do. I'm just very cautious and I look at.
I mean, you know where
for
most of
potential
the
bonus.
you know where most of the things are. That's pretty nice.
I still usually am just I look for everything that might be a bonus out of habit.
Uh-huh.
Because back in my day, that's what you had to do in games.
I mean, honestly, that kind of game sense gets you pretty far in most games, in most like platformers and things like that. I recently played through Aladdin on the Genesis, and I thought that I was just going to get kicked in the balls the entire time, but it was actually surprisingly easy. And I guess that's
the
just...
last time I've tried it, I do remember being a very difficult game, and I never got very far. Like maybe halfway through.
It can get a little difficult, but if you're, like, looking out for, like, power-ups and things, you can get quite a few extra lives early on that really takes the pressure off. There's supposed to be a
The
second...
Lion King game were well known on the Genesis, which is why they remade both of them.
Yeah, that's why they ported them to the Switch. By this point, you should know about the roll jump.
Well, I didn't. Well, I guess they just put an impossible barrel in the game. Oh, well. I did that for,
I think Cranky actually tells you about that, if you listen to him.
Oh, is this one of the ones he actually references?
Yeah, he'll tell you how to do a couple of
maneuvers.
Yeah, he'll tell you about the roll jump.
I did that for Squitter in 2. I would get to the point where you're like hard required to use the platforms to progress.
Oh my gosh.
I never figured out the
Okay, that
platforms.
one's on you because the game actually like makes the letter A out of bananas and shows you that you
Yeah,
can.
no, I knew about the A abilities, but I
You just
never
didn't
pressed
think
it twice.
You never pressed it again. Yeah.
I pressed it once. He's like, "Oh, this is a weird web. I wonder what it's for." Oh well. Guess I'll play a different game.
I kind of like Squitter's implementation in DKC 3 more. They put him in a lot more levels, and I think he's a lot more fun there.
How so? Just like the way the levels are designed?
Yeah, I think the way the levels are designed just get you a lot more out of using him.
Does his mechanics or anything didn't change?
I think he can jump on enemies in 3, and that's about the only
Oh.
difference.
He's a cool idea. He does, and any Squitter sections usually slow the game down pretty hard, though.
They do, yeah, they are slow, they're a little more methodical, but he's got like a Swiss Army knife of abilities, which is pretty fun. You can't just give people the ability to make platforms like that without some
Yeah.
consideration for the game pace. Bye.
I love that they just give Crash a gun in Crash 3. That's just an upgrade. Have a gun.
This one's mean. I don't know how you're supposed to know that's down there.
Another leap of faith one. Like, yeah, you can go through the levels quickly, but if you want to be safe, you can just stop and shoot everything. There's
Yeah.
no threat anymore.
Hell, Elevator Antics. I think Elevator Antics might be my least favorite level in the entire game. I don't really know what it is about it.
This is the one that more or less requires the roll jump that always got me stuck.
Hmm.
You can technically do it without, but it's tight.
Yeah.
You probably know the spot I mean.
Probably it's the part where you start going up and down, and then you gotta roll early so you don't get hit by the bees. Ooh. Ah.
Abilities you should never give a platforming character. Flight is one. Kirby is designed around that, of course.
Was that a comment on the stream?
Yeah, we were talking about the gun, the platforms.
No,
that
I
you
mean,
usually would
like,
never be
did
able
a
to get away
commenter
with.
say that? Because I don't see anything like that.
No, that was just
Oh,
me
okay, that was just you.
going
Flight,
on more about
flight
abilities
is,
you should never give.
Flight is difficult. Also, I think you missed a bonus up there.
Oh, what's up there? Yeah.
Flight is difficult to, like... Oh, maybe it's here. Flight is difficult to decide, like, how you should do it. No, never mind. I don't think it's here. Yeah. I mean, Kirby has it, but Flight rarely, if ever, means that you're just immune to everything, like a lot of other games seem to do.
You're even still vulnerable to pitfalls.
Not to mention that you're not going to be able to beat a boss by flying over it. Wait, you don't want 10 bananas?
I'm good.
I'm not hungry.
I'm just trying to think of mechanics that seemingly fundamentally contradict the genre of the game they're in.
I feel like auto-scrollers are kind of that.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially the minecart levels are auto-scrollers.
Was there a bonus back there?
No. We don't see
Dang
the next bonus for a while.
You really feel the difference in Diddy and Dixie's power and Diddy and Donkey's power in this one.
Yeah.
Like compared to 3, where it's used for puzzles and things, they don't have a lot of enemies like this where only Kitty can kill them.
Yeah. There's Crumples, and that's about it. DKC3's enemies are just really, like, ugly. They made them, like, gross and warty and shaped weird, and it's like, why? I mean, to be honest, a lot of 2's enemies are 1's enemies dressed up differently. Like, Cannon is Clump, and, oh my gosh, Clomp is Critter, and Kaboing is Critter.
Which that, to me, just says consistency.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, everyone's design changes in 3. Or you
Yeah.
get totally replaced, basically.
And then, I mean, heck, Zingers even came exactly as they were into 2, although they got a new sprite to make them stand out a little bit more. Mini Neckies stuck around, but regular Neckies disappeared.
Yeah, they were only really in this game.
They appear in other Donkey Kong spin-offs, like other games not made by Rare, but oh my gosh.
Yo, what was that? What are we doing? If there were a Donkey Kong kart, Necky would be playable.
Well, there was both Diddy Kong Pilot and Donkey Kong Racing, and it didn't look like you couldn't play as Necky in Diddy Kong Pilot.
I mean, like Donkey Kong Kart World.
Or heck, what about DK Barrel Blast?
That had some weird throwback characters in it, right?
No, it was all mostly just original characters. The only Kremlings that you could play as were Critter. The only Kremlings you could play as that were like in other games. I missed that same jump again. Were Critter, Copter, and Clump. And Copter and Clump had completely different designs. Like Clump is brown and has a barrel on his head instead of.
Is that the one that the like Afro Lady Kremling is in?
Yes, that's Calypso. They ended up making a bunch of new guys like Kip, Cass, Calypso, and Kludge. And Kludge looks like a Crusher, so I don't know why they didn't just make him a Crusher. He's just a big blue Kremling. I like
you know what DKC3 is? It's like when a company releases a new version of a product just to say they released something new. Even though it's basically the same thing with a new name.
I could see that. To be fair, they do have some original ideas. I like Bazooka. Bazooka's probably one of my favorite Kremlings from 3.
That's the one with the cannon you can stand on, right?
Yeah, the big shoulder cannon.
I think this is the spot.
Nope, it's not here. Oh, you mean the spot where you had to do the jump?
Or the roll. I guess you could still jump across that one. You can jump across either of these, actually.
Maybe you were just a dumb kid.
Yeah. I mean, we established that with Squitter.
Well, nothing happens. Better not try the buttons.
It's also amazing, though, like, seeing someone play a game that you know very well.
And then they're, like, doing everything wrong, and you're like, no, you're just but...
No, it's just amazing how little they get that you would think would be intuitive.
Oh, yeah. No, I had that all the time with this game. Like, every time I, like, play it with someone who hasn't, like, really played this, I'm always thrown off. I'm used to it now, but, like, it's just interesting. that you really don't know how good you are at something sometimes, right? Or you're in a fan base or part of a group of people that are very familiar with a talking point, and then it's like, you know, you talk about it and it's like, I know that, like, oh, hold on, I guess it's coming up.
People are missing all the context they need to understand anything you're saying.
Yeah. Alright, so it's here on the right. You gotta get to the rope on the right side and then jump up and over. There you go.
Another sneaky one.
We could probably just leave now.
But think of the things. I bet it... Okay, it wasn't Winky, it was Espresso.
Can you not leave
I can't
either?
start select either.
Oh. You know, you keep saying Espresso, and that's really funny to me because his name is actually Espresso, as opposed to when everybody gets it backwards.
I was thinking, oh no, it's different from the coffee.
Yeah.
I got to be sure to say it right, and I ended up saying the coffee.
You could just die.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Sorry. I'll switch to you when I go to Poison Pond.
Is it a virtual console thing?
Might be. Here. Oh wait, no wait. Where you're like? There's a Diddy barrel somewhere early. Ah,
On guard over here. I know that.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was here.
This was like the easiest to find on guard. I always knew this one.
I assumed because of the one that was later, like. Oh yeah, yeah. You know.
Is there a later one?
There is. There's another one you can get later.
Sure would be great to see higher on the screen.
Can we get much higher?
Is he over here? Is this where the other on guard is?
No, the other on guard is like at the halfway point. Why would they put two of them right next to each other like that?
I don't know. People have done weirder things. Okay, don't gotta worry about secrets. It's a water level. No, my friend.
Well, that's that. You just went right into that piranha.
Yeah.
So did I. I was scratching my leg.
Those are some of the least enemy-looking enemies in Donkey Kong. It just looks like a salmon or something.
It's supposed to be a piranha. It's a somewhat realistically designed piranha at that.
I guess it's just it's similar to Chomps in that it's so small you don't really see the angry eyes.
Yeah.
Especially on a CRT.
His name is Bite Size.
No, leave me alone.
Why are you going to the left?
I don't know.
I really wanted those bananas, huh?
Well, he wanted them too, apparently. Get out of here.
I have like a theory or a hypothesis here that the bananas we find in levels are just from the Kremlings keep dropping them while they try to carry the whole horde away.
You're like the Yiga clan.
Yeah.
Is it so it is stated at somewhere in this game's like media that his plan was to starve the Kongs, right?
No, that was something that was said by a developer. They asked him why did he want. They asked because Rare used to have an ask column on their website, and you'd be able to ask the developers questions. And at one point, they were like, maybe he plans to starve DK out, or to what was it? He plans to starve DK out to get his sweet treehouse. That was what they said.
He really just wants a place to hang out. No girls allowed.
And then, yeah, and then another one they said is maybe he just really likes bananas, but we actually have confirmation that K. Rool hates bananas.
Really does beg the question, but, video game plot.
I mean, honestly, I think you can kind of, K. Rool kind of gets desperate. This is where the other one is. Yep. You can just fly over. You can just swim over the. Okay.
I wanted to be nice. I wanted to give you a chance to play.
Oh, of course, because I love Poison Pond. Who doesn't? You know what? After you.
This is a very go up level.
It is.
Which is not good for this camera.
It worked okay for Croctopus Chase.
Hello.
Mincer moment.
K-Rool should just like fire all his other dudes and just have an army of tires, to be honest. Oh, hello. Is this a Winky?
Nope.
Espresso. I said it right, see?
Hold on. Go back. This actually skips a chunk of the level. We're going up.
I assume in, I know I'm going up, I'm wary of, like, stray tires screaming at me at Mach speed, okay? I assume in the remakes, there was a, what, Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
They treat animal tokens as a collectible. They track them.
No, they don't track them, but you do have to perform well in each of the four animal bonus levels to get a photograph.
I see.
And you do need the photographs if you want to get 100%.
That's odd. You would think that would be an obvious collectible to add per level to just track those.
I think the fact that
Part 2.
Yeah, I think the fact that that like 3 of them send you to a bonus area would just kind of make them annoying to collect.
Did you have to jump for that?
Yes. We have Ramby's jump sound effect here.
Right, because in the other level you were jumping in the minecart, so it was like the minecart jump effect, and we didn't need it. Checkpoints are for chumps.
Of course. Ooh, nice try.
I guess we can't do the well, we can't come in and escape by dying. We just can't start select.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't work.
Hello.
There's Crash.
You are an unfortunate Kremling.
Like, how is this even a different Kremling? His name is Crash with a K. Like, that's just a critter in a cart.
I'm just more thinking what his plan is. Like, he's sitting there, okay, when the monkeys come, I'm gonna get him.
I'm gonna get him. Why am I not moving?
Never mind the question of how they're related, because they're, you know, apes and monkeys.
Well, Diddy so far has been the only monkey that's referred to as a Kong.
Is Dixie not a...
Dixie doesn't have a tail.
Okay.
She's a chimp. Cranky, Swanky, Funky, DK, Candy, they're all apes.
Mankey is obviously an orangutan.
Oops, so is Lanky.
So he would have been the only new one in DK64 had they brought the...
Yeah, he would have been the only new one. Yeah. But now we've got 3 new ones. Void Kong, Poppy Kong, and Grumpy Kong.
Oh, are those the bad guys?
Yeah. Everyone's down bad for Poppy Kong.
No duh. You can't see a character like that in a commercial and not immediately know that the entire internet's gonna do that.
Actually, people are down bad for Donkey Kong now. It's because they gave him pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like those people who like big burly men. Yeah, they gave DK pants and they like him now.
Did they think he was too promiscuous when he sat on Tears with his butt out?
Honestly, it's probably just because the new face also. Like now he's goofy, he's got more of a personality. Alright, time for Blackout Basement.
Everyone's favorite video game mechanic.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing about this game, and it's only this game. If you have, like, stairs or some other sort of, like, ramp going down, if you roll, DK will keep rolling until he reaches the bottom. Without you
that
having
does make
to press.
logical sense, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's weird because the other games don't do that. Granted, there's less of that. Okay. There's less of that in the other games, but they don't. They have the one.
I can just barely see stuff on this TV. I don't think I've ever had a TV where I could when it was blacked out before.
Some of the lighter elements you can kind of make out, like the caution tape.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's completely pitch black. I mean, I suppose this is a lot better than, like, later when we get to loopy lights where we're basically going to be able to see the level anyway.
I guess they never really wanted to do pitch black in these games, because Pokemon Gen 1 was the same. You could still kind of see in the dark cave in Rock Tunnel. And they changed that in later generations, so it was just solid black.
There we go. This level's gonna be terrible for you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna ace this one. This one's gonna be free. Well, it was a good thing that the Kongs ate so much phosphorescent fruit before this level.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, man! You didn't even wait for it to appear.
Indication. Good game design.
Yeah. Like how I did that one without being able to see the barrel.
Amazing. So he's just invulnerable like this, right?
More or less. Man, that song always sounds so triumphant, and then when I listen to the Smash version, it sounds so wimpy.
Oh, his victory fanfare.
Yeah, the victory fanfare. So they changed this guy in the GBA version pretty heavily. Well, I guess not that heavily. It's more or less the same fight, but they changed most of the bosses in the GBA version to make them more like, you know, actual bosses. Like every time he does.
That version, so why don't you tell me what the changes were?
Well, I was gonna show them off, but yeah, I could just talk about it again.
Oh,
for
they can do that.
One thing, well, the first boss that gets changed is Queen Bee. She now has a phase where she spawns a bunch of zingers around her, and you have to destroy them all before you can attack her again. They changed Really Naughty. Yeah, they changed Really Naughty, so now he hits stalactites on the ceiling that you have to avoid before you can hit him again. And then, you fight Master Neki and Master Neki Senior at the same time.
For the second encounter.
For the second encounter. And then with Dumb Drum, you actually have to hit him with TNT in between every phase.
Another fan favorite level. Beloved.
Beloved. Tanked Up Trouble isn't that bad, but yeah. Actually, I think we're going to be showing off the Game Boy Color version first before we talk about the GBA version, because the color version has a level that doesn't exist in any other version of the game. It's called Neki Nutmare, and it's in this world, because this world only has 5 levels, while all the ones before it, except for level 1, for World 1, have 6. And they never brought Neki Nutmare to any other version of the game. Probably because it's not that great of a level.
The final section of this level is like one of those video game moments where it's just designed anxiety.
Yeah. Luckily for us, they also let us skip it.
Oh, there's a skip in this one?
There is.
Was there a tire you could take to that?
No.
Oh.
I'm pretty chill about this level now. It doesn't really stress me out.
Skyward Sword has a section or sections that people just loathe because it's those sections and only those sections are even more anxiety-inducing than like Majora's Mask.
Uh-huh. Oh, shoot.
No, donkey. Was it ever changed that you can't change Kongs on later versions of the game on the platforms?
I think on the GBA you can. I mean, basically the reason you can't change is because DK needs to be, like, still. And it's, like, since you're moving, it doesn't, like, work. Not that you'd ever really need to. Although maybe in Platform Peril you might.
It doesn't really make sense in universe why they wouldn't be able to.
Nice job. Might want to push that off.
I think that's the tire you can get to that, because I never knew about that barrel that you jumped into. I think I just always kept the tire.
No, because the barrel was, that barrel was like right before this part. So you can actually deal damage to bosses using DK's hand slap, but it's very finicky. You know what? I don't need this. Get rid of that.
That sounds like one of those gimmick speedrun categories.
It's not very fun. It's so delayed.
Hello. I don't know how many of these. Again, I don't know how it's showing up as your end.
Yeah, I saw the lag.
The sudden stutters. Okay, good. I was worried they'd think I was crazy, just screamed about nothing.
Oh, you're crazy, but not because of that.
Yeah. Bananas, even. This is my friend.
The tire.
Yeah.
Call him Goodyear.
I was gonna make that joke. I couldn't remember the name of the brand.
There it is. Gosh, get rid of the tire. Anyway, just skip it.
Oh yeah. They really just give you a freebie out of that last chunk with the G.
Yeah. Manic Mincers. I kind of like this level. I like that this one has a Rambi, and it's not like you're completely invincible, but you have to hold on.
Yeah.
To him. You have to try to hold on to him for as long as possible. It's really more like they just give you an extra hit more than anything else.
I've heard people make the complaint that they think these games are, you know, all presentation and not gameplay.
I
Like, they
haven't
complain
heard
about the
that.
hitboxes
I haven't heard
mostly.
that much. And
I
always
don't
get
hear it a
hit by
ton,
that
but
one.
it does come up from time to time.
Oh, I lost him. You lose him sooner or later.
It's a little weird to be seeing naughties at this point in the game.
Yeah, that's true. Walk into an area that looks like that. Is that a bonus room? There's just 3 claptraps in here. Sometimes it feels easier to do those jumps if you're holding a barrel.
I like how he's not animated at all. His legs are just frozen in place.
Yeah.
When he jumps with a barrel.
Pretty sure. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. I don't think there's anything there. So even though this is actually a bonus room, you can just get hit by these mincers and you get kicked out.
Almost got hit by that.
It doesn't deal damage
that's
to you. Hold on,
Linky.
go back into the bonus room. We need that barrel, so if you go back into the bonus room, it respawns the barrel. That's another weird thing about this one. Why is this isn't a bonus room? If you don't enter this, it doesn't count as you missing a bonus room. So, like, what is going on?
Was it back or further ahead?
It's right there. There you go.
I wonder how many kids thought that was random and not that you could see what last frame it was on.
I imagine most people figured it out.
Alright, mine level number 2.
Yeah. They have 2 worlds that are themed to mines and caves.
Except the second one, despite being called mines, feels a lot more temple themed.
Yeah. There's nothing here.
Gotta check every time. Very important. Gamer sense.
Yeah, but I know where it is.
I don't think I've ever freeze framed. The snakes look so surprised when they come out.
Yeah, they kind of get launched.
Does beg the question of how K. Rool hired the wildlife. How do you work that out?
You think Slippa isn't part of the Kremlin crew?
Well, his name doesn't start with a K.
That's true, but neither does Bazooka.
What about Neki and company? Does he have an alliance with the
With the
bird army?
Neckies and the Naughties and Slippas and armies. That almost sounds like a limerick. You can get espresso in this level. Doesn't really help you, though.
Also interesting that this is like the main Dumb Drum level after we fought the Dumb Drum boss.
Yeah. We had a couple in elevator antics, but that's about it. Alright, here it is. Go down. No, like, go down on the rope.
Gotta be specific.
Of course, right. The program does what I want, what I tell it to, not what I want it to.
Did you ever get that like elementary school assignment where you were supposed to like describe to someone how to make a sandwich?
Ah.
They would like intentionally do it wrong.
Yes, I've well, kind of. We had a philosophy class discussion once, and this was in college, and it was just to show a point as an example of you know, try to describe a sandwich, including all things that are sandwiches and excluding everything that isn't a sandwich. And there's no real good way to come up with an answer.
Now, that's a different discussion.
It's essentially the point of it is that like in philosophy, that was it, philosophy. It was about Plato's mention of the ideal. You know what a sandwich is when you look at it, and you can, and everybody will agree with you when you call something a sandwich most of the time. So like, why can't we define it? Did I miss the rope? It feels like I missed the rope.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh.
Also, we can divine it. You're just bad at it. That's my take.
Yeah. There it is.
Odd case. They just put all 4 levels in one bonus stage. Or all 4 letters.
Yeah.
Did they change that in the ports, or is it that they
It's still there. They're still all there.
Wait, okay.
Where did he go?
Just kind of floated up, yeah.
Must have something to do with being launched out and rolling at the same time, because rolling sends him upwards.
This was the spot where it happened. Maybe you jump on a certain number of enemies and press a certain button or something. They just go sailing up. It's doable in lots of other spots. That's just where it happened to me, was those snakes.
Now we got jumping claptraps. Oop. Well, there I am. Walks into the barrel, explodes. Yeah, you gotta be real careful with these.
It's such a trollish enemy.
It is. They don't jump as high as you do, but they are dangerous.
It's the one way you've been dealing with this enemy the whole game. And
Yeah.
Surprise! Shoot.
You're good, you're good.
See, now I have to play slowly because of the delay, and this level won't let me do that.
You don't need that. I don't know why you keep doing that.
Because I always, just in case, okay? That's how I play this game.
Oh, okay. We needed that barrel, but we'll just come back. In there. That wall is a bonus.
This is a very understated track.
Yeah, this is I would say that Misty Menace is probably not one of, I like it, but it's also not, like, it's not one of my favorites.
It's especially bizarre that it's called a Kong because there's clearly more than one of them.
Yeah. Kong is apparently a species in itself.
Despite having, like, drastically different species traits. Like
Yeah.
the tail. There's various mutations of apes.
Apes together strong. Wasn't even near him. I love the little owl, though. I love that they kept that in for Smash Ultimate when they made Claptrap an assist trophy. When you hit him, he just goes, ow.
The Cat of Nine Tails reuses that, doesn't it, in 2?
No, Cat of Nine Tails has like a cat sound effect, like meow. Something
Okay,
like
that's
that.
right.
In 2, most enemies are using the big
Have you seen that that game, The Choicest Voice, or The Choicer Voice, or whatever?
Yes, that from the Mario Party minigame.
Yeah, but the one that someone made their
For-
own, like, fleshed out version with
Yeah, they
custom
made it.
sound bites.
I'm almost certain they made it for Vinny.
Yeah, no, they did.
Yeah. They added all
Do
these
that,
meme
but it's,
voices.
Do that, but a mode with just Kremling sounds.
It'll be real easy until we get to like the ones from the more modern games. There we go.
And they throw in a whole musical from the cartoon show.
Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, last level of the game. Isn't it great that Cranky is, like, right here? Like, you unlock Cranky right before the second to final boss. Like, what the heck is that about?
Like, if he did give hints about everything, I guess it'd be nice to just have him accessible in any world, but...
yeah. So you, like, you kind of
It's
jump on
directly
this and
below
then,
this.
like, yeah. Yay.
But we didn't max out lives this playthrough. You're
No.
welcome. Idiot.
What is he, stupid?
Someone mentioned the need for Donkey Kong in this level. You get a barrel for every Crusher you need to kill.
Yes, you do.
Right?
And the Crushers are black, so DK can't kill them by jumping on them anyway. The reason that you want DK for this level is because of his throwing arc.
I'm thinking of was the one of the platform levels where enemies drop on you from above? That had a Crusher in it, didn't it?
Yes, but it was a blue Crusher.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So DK's an advantage in that spot.
There's a lot of enemies that actually, that like DK will either have an easier time killing or only DK can kill.
Well, Crusher's the only one only he can kill
Yeah.
in this game.
Alright, I should have just jumped. Yes. Yeah, because Diddy can kill Army when they're not rolling. Diddy can kill Clump by rolling through them, but Diddy can't touch Crusher at all.
On the other hand, that plays to his benefit in exactly one spot. Why I keep, I want to keep the barrel, even though I know there's no, like, wall things in this level.
In the Japanese version, Diddy can actually kill Crusher by jumping on his head twice. And Diddy actually takes 2 hits to kill Mankey too.
Is there like an indication that you're dealing damage?
They'll recoil, I think, but
Okay,
I don't know.
well that's something. I didn't know that you could kill Charging Chucks with fireballs for the longest time because it makes the same effect as if you like hit a buzzy beetle.
When did you find that out? Like early on?
I was probably watching Vinny. I was watching someone else play the game.
Yeah.
Like in the past couple years.
I knew about the fireball one as a kid because I just tried throwing fireballs at him, but I didn't know that jumping on him 3 times would kill him until a lot later.
See, now that's weird because it has the damage sound effect when you jump on it.
It does. I just thought that he would, because he just shook his head and got up. I was like, okay, well that's not doing anything, right?
Okay, so he was your squitter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why would I try it more than once?
Well, maybe I did try it more than once, but since it takes 3 hits.
Why would I try it more than twice?
So, yeah, this is why you want DK for this level. Diddy has to do a little bit more maneuvering for stuff like that. I messed it up.
He's a different character, but I can't disassociate just the way Kitty feels with Donkey Kong, and so it feels wrong when the barrel's in front of him.
I actually like controlling Kitty a lot more than DK. For one thing, I'm pretty sure Kitty's actually faster than Dixie. He swims faster, at least. I know that. He has the ability to skip over the water, and he just feels more fluid to control than DK does in this game. So it's...
Do you think DK is faster than Dixie?
No, I think DK is slower than everyone.
Dixie feels like the only one who was specifically designed to be slow, but maybe that's just me.
It's just you make your brand new your IP gets a whole brand new breath of fresh air, and you're like Donkey Kong Country. Second game comes out, he's nowhere to be seen. Well, I mean he's in there, but like, could you imagine if like you made your if you just suddenly got a game where Sonic just wasn't playable until the very and he didn't appear until the very end? Hold on, back up.
Too slow.
We gotta do it again.
Oh, that's the boss, that's right.
Yeah. If Cranky gave any useful tips, I'm sure he would be nice to have here.
It's actually the speed up mechanic that always makes me hesitant to roll into those guys. Like, I worry I'm gonna fly off the ledge. But you have control of them the whole time, so it shouldn't really be an issue.
Oh my gosh.
It's harrowing. It adds suspense to the stream.
Heroin? Why didn't I just consider doing drugs?
I kind of regret not sticking to the fast enemies when we did the what was it? Archipelago was the last thing we did. No, it was the Ocarina PC thing.
Yeah.
Because it was funny, and then I only let it last for like a quarter of the stream.
That's a part where Diddy like suffers, is that part with the army. Because army just like blocks Diddy from really being able to move forward.
Yeah. Oblivion map
Ooh,
raid.
we got a raid. Everyone says
Oblivion.
Everyone says DK, but that's an abbreviation for Dixie, Donkey, and Diddy. Not anymore. According to the newer games, DK is actually an abbreviation for just Donkey, because you've got Diddy with DD, Dixie with DX, and Cranky with CK.
Also, hello, Gleam.
Sonic Forces tried to keep you off Sonic, and then there's Knuckles Chaotix, but at least Sonic isn't in the name. That's true. Sonic did appear in the credits if you get the good ending. I forgot about that.
I like the Sonic game where Tails dies.
Sonic 2 won the Master System.
Clouds. Yeah.
I think this last one's supposed to be a joke with the naughty. Anyway, go under the platform. Roll under it.
To the right.
Yeah. There you go. Now we're done. And they give you a fish.
I don't want it. Take it away. What animal buds were added was Ratty.
There was Rattly, Quawks, the purple Squawks, and Clapper.
Oh, the seal, that's right. So no...
And
Rattly
Glimmer.
was the only rideable one.
Squitter.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Squitter and Radley were the new rideable ones, and then Clapper, Glimmer, where Clapper and Glimmer were more or less stage gimmicks. You've got an unorthodox style. Thanks.
How's the DK? Well, there's not much more left of it. As far as the game goes.
Yeah, we're done with, here he is. Oh.
That Donkey Kong 94 boss theme had no business going as hard as it did.
The sad thing is that it's not even the real boss theme.
No, it's the penultimate one.
They should have swapped the themes around, honestly.
Like this one, it makes sense to have a good boss theme. The entire Great Game soundtrack is great.
Yeah.
It's funny to see like how much bigger he is than Donkey Kong in this.
Yeah. And then you see him in like other spin-off titles or anything, and he's about DK's size. I mean, you can't really. I mean, in Smash, you can't really make him much bigger than Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
He's taller than DK by a little bit. His head actually goes into some platforms.
He is significantly. He's like second heaviest after Bowser, right?
I think so.
He feels smaller by 3.
He's about the same size. Like, he's still pretty big in 3. It's just, he feels like way less of a threat, I think is what it is. Because he's not getting his hands dirty by directly attacking you in 3. He's having...
Oh, he just floats around.
Yeah, and then he has, like, the laser floor do it for you.
K. Rool in 3 just seems confused. Like he's taken one too many hits to the head.
I mean, he does say he used all of his best pots and pans to make Chaos.
I bet he doesn't even really have a wife.
I mean, apparently he doesn't. That was just a joke, a reference to a sitcom. But, I mean, he mentions her.
Then by 64, he's full on like cartoonish villain, like in the show.
It's half and half, because he goes Darth Vader mode at the beginning, and then when you finally meet him, and he's going, "Argh!" and he's like getting all knocked over, and he's tired and everything. I mean, there is like this kind of, I think there's this little bit of like a meta narrative going on where K. Rool is getting more exhausted and desperate after each loss.
I did it! He's dead forever.
We're really far from DK Isle.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Claptrap on coding? I don't think that guy can code. Crusha with designing characters? Yeah, okay.
The end. So is the implication that 2 is like immediately after this, and we took this boat to Crocodile Isle?
No, because because DK gets captured while he's like relaxing on the beach.
Okay, they added that as like a cutscene
in the GBA version, but it's in the manual in the original. DK's relaxing on the beach, and he's like, even video game heroes need to relax every once in a while. And Creaky's like, not me, whisking away maidens and throwing barrels 7 days a week. I was.
Back in my day, we worked 16-hour days, and we were happy with it.
And we had 4 colors.
So what it is it supposed to be this ship, the first world, though?
Yeah, the first world is Gangplank Galleon. It's crashed. There's a big hole in it.
Okay, so we just, they just land in Crocodile Isle, and that's the first place they set touchdown in, is the crashed ship.
Is the crashed ship, yeah.
Definitely wouldn't make sense to be immediately after, since K. Rool's been studying the occult between games.
And he's got a magic vacuum cleaner gun.
It's so like bizarre that he just suddenly has magic in 2, even though it's like a pirate theme.
I mean, pirate magic is a thing.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing you might notice in between this game and 2 and 3 is that K. Rool's hands get huge.
He does have little hands in this game.
He's got little hands, and in 64, that's pretty much how, like, consistently after this, his hands are pretty small. But in 2 and 3, because of, in 2, he has to use the gun. So, they gave him huge hands. And in 3, they just kept the design.
Or his muscles toned down, because I notice he's pretty buff in this game.
Well, in the other games, you can't see him because he's wearing, like, cloaks.
What a loss.
I mean, since Payon kept him, they didn't really, they gave him, like, a little bit of a tone, but he's not, like, muscular. He is, you know, he's got, like, a weightlifter's build.
Payon?
Payon, the company that worked on the games from, like, DK King of Swing to Barrel Blast. They made the design of K. Rool that we know now because Namco ran with Rare's design for the Donkey Konga games.
I would know the difference.
Oh, that's right, they skipped the credits on the second time.
This really seems like a you have to die first with the speed he goes at you the first time.
Yeah. I mean, you just got unlucky because he was like, you were right in the middle.
Boing, boing. I'll hop menacingly. This will get those Kongs.
The cannons didn't work. Jump.
And thus we give him brain damage and win all of our bananas back.
Well done, Donkey, my boy. Who'd have thought a young whippersnapper like you could have beaten them bunch of no-good Kremlings? You made an old man proud. That's a thing that's also in this and 2, is that Cranky's like, you know, you did a good job, you know? I respect you. What a player you are. You've beaten the Kremlings and found absolutely everything. You're nearly as good as I used to be. That's really the only difference if you get everything, is that he's like, you found it all.
Does he not congratulate Dixie when she wins her game?
No, that's kind of sad, because, like...
He doesn't respect her.
Even, yeah, DK's like, even Cranky would be impressed with that performance, and Cranky shows up, he's like, not really. And then they go beat him up, and he says, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? And he has big, oversized glasses on.
The choice to add, like, spoken dialogue in 3 was another very strange one, to me.
I mean, they were always speaking in the manuals, they just didn't do it in-game.
The existence of that Candy Kong image implies that they have photo technology on this island.
Well, of course they do. Don't you? I mean, Cranky becomes a mad scientist in 64.
Yeah, okay. Clambo.
I mean, well, Funky has a jet plane barrel.
Yeah, but that's barrel technology. This is like Gilligan's Island with bamboo technology. Donkey Kong has barrel technology.
You're right. Crash.
Yeah. Whoa! New character.
Yes, yes, Beavis.
He just wanted an identity, so he got in a minecart and called himself a different name.
Why are we doing this in DK's house?
It would have been cool in a later game for like you'd have a fight with a fully modeled Neki.
Oh yeah,
or Master Neki. The bosses were quite a bit more involved in like big epic affairs in 2.
So, in the credits, excuse me, in the data for this game, there's actually dialogue from Cranky about every boss. And he also has a walking sprite. They ended up using that in DKC 1 and 2 on the GBA, where he's like, he just complains that the boss was a recolor of the last one.
Is it my turn yet? What a bizarre choice to just nix all of his hints except for those ones.
Yeah, because they are in the game, and in the GBA version they reinstate them, so I don't know, like, why they bothered with that.
Now this is the part where we learn about their abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Hey, stupid.
Why did he do that? He's dead. I love that part, especially I loved in the Vinny stream where he paused on that.
That and the Sonic has passed when the music gets all, like, somber as soon as the level ends.
I did this using one life. It took less than an hour. I remember the completionist actually tried that challenge and he was upset when it didn't actually do anything. Chris Sutherland. He did all the voices in this game. So he's the voice for Diddy and K. Rool, and he did the he would end up going on to voice K. Rool and Diddy in DK64. N. Crook. Do you trust a guy named Crook? So people don't pay attention to this, but there's actually 3 composers there. Robin Beanland, Evelyn Fisher, and David Wise.
Because everyone only really knows Wise.
Wise composed Aquatic Ambience and DK Island Swing, but Beanland, I know Beanland composed I want to say he composed Life in the Mines.
Also, this is before video game designers were allowed to be credited. No one cared about them.
Well, I mean, obviously not. They're all credited here. There's Kevin Lobb, the guy we saw earlier in the video with the glasses.
Someone Miyamoto. Guy Males.
Greg Males. Tim Stamper. Presented by Nintendo. But we're not done just yet. We're not done just yet. We've got, of course, the Game Boy Color version of the game. There we go. Close that.
And then you're going to start streaming again so I can see this.
Yes, I'll actually start showing that off.
Have you ever played like a hard mode hack of any of the Donkey Kongs?
I think I did once. Oh, it's being finicky again. It doesn't like my... For some reason, the GameCube just doesn't like my, my disc for the Game Boy player. It's being
What
annoying.
a shame that you needed a disc for that. Because I think a lot of people had the bottom part, but not the disc you needed to use it.
Yeah.
I also had a 32X, but not the wires that I needed to use it.
Alright. Very annoyingly. Just kind of do that to the disc. The audio is not correct.
I'm hearing it on my end. But yeah,
no, I mean it's
stream,
delayed. It's delayed is the thing. The hearing, you can hear it, but...
So you're putting in the Game Boy Advance one?
No, this is the Game Boy Color version first.
Game Boy player can play those?
Yes, it can. It can play all Game Boy games. Come on. Work with me here.
You can do it.
I may need to get a new GameCube. This one's been acting up on me. I mean, I need to, No disc. There is a disc. Turning it off. Shaking this bad boy, because shaking it makes it work sometimes. The GameCubes are invincible. Not mine.
I don't think my GameCube ever bit it. I did have discs start to just.
There we
stop
go.
working
Now
after
it's
so many
working.
years.
Okay, here we go. The Game Boy Color version. So this released in 2000. Yeah. And as such, it actually borrows some graphics from Donkey Kong 64.
Look at that range of colors.
Oh yeah. So there's a couple different things you can do in this one. You can connect it to your Game Boy printer. Hold on. You can connect it to your Game Boy printer and print out the alphabet. Isn't that nice?
What's up? We got to see what's on K. Claptrap. Okay,
Yeah,
he got the coveted K.
He got the K. L, M, N.
That was a weird looking naughty.
I mean, Naughty just looks weird no matter what, really. Why is he posed up like that?
He's so much bigger than the others.
No, that's a rock
Bigger than he
croc,
looks
honestly.
in-game.
I expect the rock croc to just break this and kill me. That's an army. He looks weird. Crusher always looks cool, though.
I wonder who the artist who made these is specifically.
Honestly, it could have been any of them. Oh, we got an umlaut.
I like how they gave the numbers to letters.
Yeah.
Beta?
These are just for different languages. Isn't that something?
Gotta be inclusive.
What else you got?
Has
Oh, I
anyone
guess I
ever
don't have
printed
any of
enough
it.
those out to like write a message.
Write a
in Donkey
message?
Kong font?
Probably. I don't know what this is for. Then we got Link Up. I don't know what you can do when you link up. We've got bonus games. We've got Funky's Fishing, and Crosshair Cranky. All right, I haven't beaten all of these yet.
Interesting that a minigame has its own whole set of levels.
Yeah.
With new islands. What's he firing? Who gave Cranky a
Coconuts.
gun? Okay. I think this was the game that the Zelda 2 PC took the Diddy sprites from.
Hmm.
And it looks very bizarre to see them on the color range of just an NES.
Yeah. I'm apparently playing as Donkey Kong, but Donkey Kong is also there.
Oh, I thought you were Cranky.
Yeah, but like, then why is there DK in the bottom left of the screen? Unless that's not DK? Is that Cranky?
He just has a photo of his grandson because he loves him.
Oh, alright, yeah. Oh, they're taking bananas.
You get a remix of the forest theme? Or the
This
temple
is the that's the music for the temple in Donkey Kong Land. They actually took some Donkey Kong Land music and put it in here. Yeah, it's the same thing. Quit.
More whack-a-mole than a shooter.
And then we've got Funky's Fishing.
Gotta have a fishing minigame.
Oh my gosh, we got crusty Donkey Kong voice clips.
Also, once again, not playing as Funky. He just runs the thing.
He just runs the thing.
Okay.
I think I've seen enough of that. This doesn't feel very fun to play. View
Yeah.
items. Oh yeah, I collected these from like the regular game. It's kind of weird.
I feel like anytime a minigame isn't forced for some kind of in-game progress, no one plays them.
Yeah.
Except in the Mario DS games had minigames. People like those.
So, it's more or less the same thing as the original game, although they still don't have an exclamation point on the main map to show you, like, you've completed it 100%. Instead, when you go in there, they don't have an exclamation point here either. The letters just turn red.
Okay, you said new level in this.
There's one new level in this game. Necky's Necky Nutmare. And that's the main reason I'm wanting to show this off. This controls terribly, by the way. This
very purple.
I'm gonna try to finish it. If I don't, I'm not gonna lose any sleep, though.
You said you weren't a big fan of this level.
It's not well designed. Oh, that's a Black Crusher. Okay. Oh, and I took damage. Alright. And they're using Donkey Kong Land music here as well. So, when you hold down the button, you do jump higher, but it can be just, I don't know.
Is there, like, only 2 heights?
Oh, gosh.
It does look like the camera's a fair bit zoomed out from land, at least.
Well, but it still jitters around like crazy. Hello? Okay, well that's different. Jeez Louise, man.
So where do the... I assume you're playing the land games. Where do those fit in?
So each one happens after its corresponding country game. And I will be doing, the next time we meet, I will be doing Donkey Kong Land.
Yeah, I meant when they were released, not...
Oh, they released...
Nerd.
They released in between the country games. Like, Donkey Kong Land was 1995, Donkey Kong Land 2 was 1996, and Donkey Kong Land 3 was 1997. But the Japanese didn't get Donkey Kong Land 3 until 2000. So it released on the Game Boy Color.
Did all of them have color functionality?
They did with the Game Boy Color, with the Super Game Boy in the other releases, but that's just regular stuff. That's not like a fully colored game. They took the 4 palettes of the Game Boy, and they just... What the heck? They took the 4 colored palettes of the Game Boy, and they just assigned it colors that the Super Game Boy
so
reigns
like
off.
the Pokemon.
Yeah. There we go. Jeez Louise, man. Honestly, I kind of don't think they... I think they shouldn't have done this. Like, the Super Game Boy... The Game Boy Color was not the right, like, thing to remake this game on. Oh, this is the part I hate. Because there's a Necky that shoots nuts in there.
So this is the only one on the color. After this, they were all advanced remakes.
Yeah, they were all advanced remakes. Ugh. I did beat this and 100% it. You can see that that's... Well, it's not 100%. It's like 87 because I didn't finish all the bonus stuff. Candy...
It's interesting that they made the land games because they knew they would have to sacrifice a lot of everything to fit Donkey Kong on a Game Boy.
Yeah.
The color, they decided they were ready. They were going to put the full game on it.
Yeah.
What about Candy?
Candy's got a new thing in this, because you save after every level automatically in this version.
Does she have a mini game?
I think she's got something.
I feel like I remember having a mini game in one of the...
In the advanced version, she's got a dance studio with a dance mini game.
You think she's friends with Conker's girlfriend?
Probably not. Okay. I always saw Candy as more of like an earnest person. Barry seems like pretty fake.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's so tight!
This is very, very mean level design. I see what you're saying.
You could tell that this one wasn't made originally. Oh, and they have these special collectible green bananas. I don't really remember what they do. It doesn't.
Did this one track the Kong letters?
No, this one doesn't track Kong letters.
I wonder if this specific version has achievements.
What the heck?
Game Boy Color. It does. Every version has its own achievement sets. How bad is this one?
Okay.
Okay, so they added a no checkpoints difficulty in this game. Complete all 6 candy challenges.
Alright, there's nothing even down there. But I can't seem to jump on the necky.
Does she have the same minigame in this in the advanced one?
No, it's different. It's absolutely different. Alright, come on. I can't jump on him! Why is it so finicky? Is it because I'm Donkey Kong? Well, you don't get to see the rest of it. I've shown enough.
You gonna show the candy game?
Yeah, I'll show off the candy minigame. Funky lets you play fishing from the menu there. You also may have noticed they removed the little DK head that appears and you walk to World 1. They got rid of that. The Japanese version got rid of that in the original game too, actually. Oh, I've beaten this challenge already. Oh, I forgot.
I also noticed the map now transitions as opposed to it being just 2 images.
Yes, yeah, they actually did do that, which is pretty nice. Still got to use Funky to float around. Does Cranky have any? Can't play this. The color's too rich for my old eyes. Used all the latest state-of-the-art 3D worky thingies, did you? Oh, I never stopped at Cranky. He's talking the first time. Trouble with you kids is that you're all too soft. We'd play for hours on a single screen. I'm talking about when games really were games. And Jungle Hijinks stick to the tree chops earn extra lives. I never liked
kind of
those.
a non sequitur.
Never liked those sticker packs. They make your bananas turn green. You know, all that you need to know for now. So he's got like new hints. They can't keep this level of graphics up for much longer. Already this fancy 3D stuff we went without. Never seen anything like it. 4 shades of gray, all in an 8x8 block is all that we had. That was when we had real gameplay. Alright. And let's switch to the advanced version.
By the stunning graphic. We're not going to do the candy thing?
I can't seem to do it because I've already accomplished them, so I'd have to start the game from the beginning and play up to candy, which I guess I could do, but I don't. You don't need to do that. Oh, you can go back out if you don't like your option. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I've already beaten this challenge already. Look at that! Listen to that Game Boy Color farting out the sound to try to get Candy's music going. And let's check out the Game Boy Advance version, which honestly, just don't play the Game Boy Color version. I know it has a unique level, but it just feels so terrible to play.
But both of these came out after Land.
Yes. So these were, even though Microsoft had bought Rare by this point, they still let them do games for the Game Boy Advance because they weren't competing in that market. So firstly, this has a new new time attack mode where you try to like complete all of these within all of them within a good time limit. We've got 2 new mini games. Funky's Fishing, which is from the other one, but it actually feels a lot better to play. We got a nice new music.
Is that Diddy?
Yeah, Diddy's, oh, the one who sang it? No, it's some announcer. It might be Candy. But I actually would waste a couple of hours with this every so often, because this actually does feel really good to play. And the new music is good, too. I don't know who did the new music.
There was a Sonic fan game about Big the Cat that was a lot like this.
Big's Big Fishing Adventure. And then, of course, you've got... oh, wait, excuse me. We've got Candy's Dance Studio, which comes with lots of different individual dances to try out.
But not the same game from the color version.
No, I think from the color version they were just little challenges.
The 3D.
Yeah, so these are new sprites. They actually had to make new models for these. When they were originally making this version, they were going to just straight up use the original models and scan them in again for higher quality graphics, but they were all on floppy disks and were kind of missing. I gotta hit it early because I'm on, you know.
I can't really even see Candy's face. It just looks like she has a big overhang forehead.
Yeah, you're right.
Helga vibes.
I'm actually quite good at these when I don't have to deal with delay.
The first foray into DK rhythm game.
Yeah. I like the music.
Now that's not Candy. That's just someone.
You don't think it's Candy? It sounds like a woman.
I think it sounds like a different voice from one of the fishing game.
Ah.
Waluigi does not approve of your performance.
There's a disapproving duck somewhere. But yeah, they have lots of these, and they're pretty hard. Obviously, with my controls, I'm not going to be able to get it right. But
quite a lot of poses they did renders of.
Yeah, and when you're playing the game normally, you have to do it. So first things first, we've got new map screens for everywhere on the map. The levels have also been changed around a little bit.
I see this one does not cross under itself anymore.
No. DK Young Winter 7, long time no see. Look at this, my beard swings. Waste of frames, I say. Dance with Candy to win many prizes. Oh, he's done.
Wow,
he didn't...
Cranky, your TV is huge.
You can also see he's got Mumbo Jumbo's skull. And Saberwolf.
DK looks so small here.
Games never looked like this when I was a swinging lad. You can't jump on a spiky zinger's back. Winky will do it. This color screen's making me dizzy. Just turn it down. Come on, you've got hints for levels in this world. I want to hear them.
It is kind of arbitrary. Squishy frog can jump on the spiky beans.
Alright, never mind. He does have hints for every level, but he's not giving them to me right now.
Cranky was handled so much better in 2.
Yeah. So whenever you go visit Candy's Dance Studio, you actually have to do the dance in each one, and your reward is, if you do it right, you get photographs for the scrapbook. And it's just...
Oh, and you can call Funky anywhere.
You can call Funky anywhere. You don't need to do anything like that. You can save the game whenever you want. I mean, it would suck if you couldn't.
That Winky looked very shell-shocked.
Most of them are renders from the original game, but we do have a couple new ones, and you can tell really easily. Actually, this is new, and you can tell. And this is new. Pretty nice. But let me.
Do you know if those are
I'll actually show all of
the.
the.
Any other games?
I couldn't tell you. So we'll show off all the maps because they look different. Funky has a new theme, as you can tell. And we can go to the level stats. It keeps track of our Kongs, and it tells us how many bonus barrels are in each level. So you can go to Funky, and he'll give you an individual fishing challenge. All you have to do is just catch 20 red fish. Real easy.
Well, it's definitely more incentive than just going through the menus to play them.
Yeah.
You know what this is really about? The entire conflict is just over the letter K.
Because Claptrap has it?
No, because they both wanted the Kongs and the Kremlins.
Not bad.
Come on. There you are. Whoops. Interesting, they have like the original render for DK Island back there, but they made a new one for this game anyway. And it just gives you some nice rewards.
It's a familiar number of lives.
Yeah. Here, we'll
I
take
like how the screen for Call Funky looks like it's from an infomercial.
I like the new maps. I actually think it's very fitting that they're all new. And of course, I will show off the bosses that are different.
The style of the rendering in these maps feels very different.
It is. You can tell. Of course,
So
the
this
music.
is the first boss that's changed.
Yeah, this is the first boss that's different. I always had trouble with this one.
Because you can't just like stand under it or wait and wait anymore.
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance sound chip, not always a fan favorite.
No, and you also might notice that the colors are super washed out. That's because this was
a relatively early
2003.
Game Boy Advance.
Before the SP hit the market. But even after the SP hit the market, they still had to do it because of those original models.
It was definitely more a thing in early Game Boy Advance games than later ones.
Yeah.
Just outside the DK series in general.
And then Cranky shows up and he complains about how the boss sucks. Told him to buzz off. That's a her. Come on, hand it over. I'll take that banana for you.
We're learning a lot of uncomfortable things about Cranky. Okay, the glacier's now at the very top of I guess it wasn't always around the top.
Yeah. You go around the head and then go back down.
Kind of like a proto K roll.
Yeah. Oh, you also notice that DK uses his DK64 voice lines.
Yeah.
They do that for all these games. DK and Diddy use their voice lines from DK64. Dixie uses Tiny's voice lines.
Oh, good. Gleam's still here. I thought you were gonna miss the fishing minigames.
That's great. And also the level order has been changed around a little bit. Because now the last one is Minecart Madness instead of Blackout Basement.
Do you think it's more for difficulty balancing or just the layout of the new map?
I'm not sure.
Nice sound effect.
Yeah. Now I actually gotta hit the guy instead of him just killing himself.
Definitely makes him more of a boss.
Yeah.
Really, this guy should just be happy that he is a sentient barrel capable of flight. You just go out and live life. That's doesn't need to be working for K-Rool.
Oh, a bunch of enemies actually got new voice lines too. Oops.
Oh, and he deals contact damage.
Yeah. Well, you get the idea.
Did he always?
Yeah, he always did, I'm pretty sure.
It's so red.
It is. It's like it's the thermal.
Much more cartoony sound effects for both the nuts and the birds.
Yeah. If you like hit one of them, so they both have their own separate health bar. So if you like hit one until it dies, the other one starts doing like the technique that Master Neki Sr. did in the original game.
Bro got mad, so he called his dad to beat you up. Were you doing that intentionally, trying to beat him around the same time?
Yeah, because it's easier if you do it that way. It's just like the old days, reusing the boss, changing its color, and pretending it's completely new. That's it.
Yeah,
Only
he's complaining about things from the old days.
Yeah.
He's just never happy.
No, he's just never happy. Was there anything else I wanted to show off? Oh, right.
The island looks so much more smug.
And of course we have one last thing. After you beat the game 100%, you unlock Hero Mode. You play as Diddy Kong in yellow. You have no Donkey Kong. It's the same game otherwise.
So they found another way to remove Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong.
You're totally right. Oh yeah, these exist now. They have proper introductions like they did in the older games.
You killed him.
I did. Let me see if I can remember. Oh, right. I know. I need to show this off. Wait, not here. But this isn't just a port job. It's like a proper, like... It's a proper, like, do-over.
There doesn't seem to be any achievements. Oh no, there's one for Hero Mode. I blinked. Why were we in an ice place with floating paintings?
That's the warp zone that appears when you go through one of the new warp barrels now. Instead of it just being a cannon that shoots you to the end, you go through here. Pretty cool.
Barrel technology has progressed so far.
Yeah. And let me see. I didn't do any of the cheat codes in the first one, but you hold select and you press down A, R. Oh wait, no, the cheat codes are different in this version. Hold on. The barrel cheat code still works, that gets you 50 lives. B-A-R-R-A-L. There it is. You press B-A-L-L-A down. Oh, wait. B-A, left, A, down, right? Oh, no.
Super Facts posted DK concept art.
There we go. Oh, they actually got the name wrong here. This isn't Simian Segway. This is DK Island Swing. And you get DK dancing.
I think you showed this one already, but I'll post it anyway.
And that's pretty much it. That's Donkey Kong Country. Oh yeah, I did show that one. But yeah, that's Donkey Kong Country. They re-released it a couple of times, changed a few things, but still ultimately the same game. This is one of my favorite games ever. I've been playing it ever since I was a kid, so it's always nice to check it out.
So the next game on the list.
The next game on the list is Donkey Kong Land, and I'll be back just myself for that one. So I want to say thank you, Zelrog, for coming along for this one. This was nice. I can't remember the last time I played Donkey Kong Country with someone who knows what he's doing. So I'll see you guys next week when we do Donkey Kong Land. We'll be doing Donkey Kong Land, Donkey Kong Country 2, and Donkey Kong Country 3. We're getting close, so I may have to start speeding through some of these games, but who knows. I'll see you guys later.